all right. What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another stream. PE live. We're doing it live, like always. We've got maybe a debate today. I've got to check. This guy, he wanted me to send him an invite to his calendar, and I'm like, no, dude, just remember when to come through. So I told him 5 o'clock, but I think I'll push it to 5:15 just so he has enough time. I'm gonna send him something right now, but essentially we're gonna be having, I think we're gonna be having a debate tonight. So for the mods that are here already, let people know, if they keep on asking, people say, what's the debate? Because it's gonna be in a little bit, probably about an hour or so. But if there is gonna be some type of debate tonight, we are gonna be debating the situation that kind of got a lot of people talking to me on Twitter, and that I saw also Legendary Drops or Rare Drop. I forgot what his name is, but he's a big YouTuber. He's like Evil John on YouTube anyway. He's like Evil Spawnwave. But yeah, I wouldn't say Evil Spawnwave, but he just talks, he's very popular. A lot of people like him. But the discussion that he brought up was something along the lines of, oh, well, the gaming industry, look at all the layoffs are from California. The problem is California, because look at all the layoffs. If everybody just moved up out of California, it'd be so much better because of the high cost of living there. So I quote tweeted that, and I said, now here's the new scapegoat. The new scapegoat is California. I said, okay, move all the devs out of California. Once the layoffs keep on still happening, I wonder what the new excuse will be. And then I gave him the real answers to why there's a lot of layoffs. But I also had some people that obviously disagree with me there. So we're gonna bring somebody on he's a content creator as well. I don't think he's a full-time content creator, but he has a YouTube channel, Mr. Toby. And yes, I think that's his name. I think his name is Toby. Or let me double check that his name is Toby. Oh my gosh. Yeah, his name is Toby. So we're gonna bring Mr. Toby on today. He's a follower of mine. We're gonna bring him on. He wants to debate this because he said that I'm naive and stupid. Or actually, no, I called him stupid, but he called me naive, and I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to business. I don't know the gaming industry, so he told me I don't know what I'm talking about. So I said, hey man, I'm not gonna be reading all your crap because he keeps on writing all these different pages. I'm like, you can come on the show, we can debate it. You can tell me why I'm naive and stupid and I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to the gaming industry. So he's gonna come on and tell me why I'm naive, and I'm gonna tell him why he's stupid. So that's gonna be the thing for today. Well, like I said, if he decides to come on, I'm gonna send him a message saying, hey, can we do 5:15 p.m. PT, 5:15 p.m. PT tonight if you can. So let me send him I'm gonna send him the Discord link too, so he can just hop in when he's ready. Justin with the $3 dono coming in. Pokemon Champions, let's hear it.
I have put 8 hours into Pokemon Champions, and I guess I have been lucky I haven't seen any of the bugs people have been saying.
Okay.
My team has got me to Great Ball rank 3 so far. Also, I'll see y'all later. I just can't take the goofy stuff.
Well, no, wow. The debate's not till 5:15. So you can hang around for an hour or so, and it's not going to be the whole stream. So it's only going to be for about maybe 30 minutes to an hour. So it's not going to be the whole stream, Justin, don't worry. I made sure to do that with my debates, like my last debate with the other guy. I think it was about an hour, so a little bit about an hour. I don't make my debates like the whole stream. We're going to have a point. He's going to have his point. We talk back and forth, and that's that. I'm going to hard cap it at no more than an hour. Hopefully it's like 30 minutes. Hopefully it's more like a discussion, more so than a debate. So we're going to discuss that. So you don't have to go if you don't want to go. And once again, it's not till an hour from now, at least about an hour. So I told him 5:15 if he can. So there you go. So like I said, and once again, you could dip for the debate if you want to. That's cool. But I mean, definitely hang around till then if you want. And like I said, it won't be for the full. Hopefully we get the full overclocks, like I said, so we can do like the whole 3-hour stream. So if we get that, then we can do the 3-hour stream. So you're good on that one. Like I said, it'll only be for about 30 minutes to an hour. Like I said, I'll make sure that it doesn't go over that. when it comes to the debate and all that. So yeah, no worries there. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I always like to have difference of opinion on. I think one thing that people accuse me of, and I want to make sure that people are very that it's known that I don't mind difference of opinion. That's one thing that people try to say, oh, well, he doesn't, if anybody disagrees with him, he gets upset, or he doesn't want to allow them to speak. And I'm like, no, I don't want that. I want to be able to have people who disagree. I don't want it to everyone just disagrees on the same thing, you know? So yeah, that's kind of where I'm coming from with these. All right, let me send him the Discord link too. So like I said, I'm not sure if he's gonna show up, because I didn't send him his email invite, because I don't want to send it through like his calendar. So like, if he doesn't show up, then he doesn't show up, you know. All right, next up here, with the $5 dono, and also Justin with another $3 dono as well. Let's go.
Plus, to the people who uses leftovers, substitute, protect, and recover altogether. Why do you hate fun? Lol.
Gotta have the knockoff, man. You gotta knock that baby off. Gotta have the knockoff going there, where you just or you exchange items, like where you just you exchange items. Yeah, I did see with Pokemon Champions, there seems to be like a lack of Pokemon though, right? There's like, I don't think there's enough Pokemon right now, so like not even all my Pokemon are supported, or something along the lines of that. So yeah, I'm gonna check. I'm gonna download it. And then we're gonna play for sure. We're definitely gonna play maybe the birthday stream. I just want some patches just to make sure. I know you sent me a message, Justin, so I know like the patches are coming through. But I mean, I just don't want there to be any issues, because like I have like a lot of really good Pokemon, you know. So I just want to make sure that it's patched up and it's completely ready to go before I. Is this screen blurry? No, it's not. Okay. I just want to make sure it's all patched up and ready to go. Chrono with the $5 donation says one reason why there are so many people in the tech industry in Cali, places like New York. Like New York, is because that's where a lot of the talent want to live. Well, yeah, I mean, and that's something that, you know, maybe we can discuss tonight. But I mean, really, a lot of the talent, like people say, oh, well, why don't they move to the Midwest, or why don't they move to South Carolina? And it's like, listen, guys, nothing against the Midwest, nothing against South Carolina, but there's like not a lot of people want to live like in Idaho. Like you can go to Idaho and it can cost you like, you know, $100,000 for like a house, you know, or something like that, right? You can get a little house on the prairie or something like that. And like, a lot of people don't want to live in Idaho. It's the same thing. Like you can equate it to like even sometimes football, right? Or basketball. Where does the top talent want to go play? Well, a lot of them don't want to go play in, you know, in North Dakota or South Dakota, or they don't want to go play in like, you know, Mississippi or something like that. They want to play in New York. They want to play in Florida. They want to play in California. Just like they want to play at certain places. Like there are marquee places where people want to go, or let's say Oregon, right? Like the Oregon Ducks. Like there are certain places where people want to go. Alabama is a big destination spot for a lot of top players, you know. So it just depends. Like it depends on what the nucleus or where the people want to go. Not everybody wants to go to Boise State. Like why can't Boise State be better every single year? Well, not everybody wants to go there. Or Fresno State. That's my alma mater. Why doesn't everybody want to go to Fresno State? Why can't? Because people don't want to live in Fresno. You know what I'm saying? Like people don't want to live in Fresno. Like plain and simple. It's like they don't want to live there. Like I don't want to go to Fresno State because I don't want to live in Fresno. You know, like so it's like that's really where some of this comes from as well, too. You know. So let's see here. Is it my glasses? Is it my glasses? I think maybe I have a smudge or two on my glasses. Yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah, I think it's my glasses. Thank you for that. I thought so a little bit. Yeah, I got a nice cloth here. It'll take care of it. Yeah, these glasses actually clean really good compared to my other glasses. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, so, and it's okay. Like, when I went to school at Fresno State, like, I understood why other top players did not want to play at Fresno State. Like Reggie Bush at the time, that was like a top player when I was in college and around the time and stuff. And yeah, it's like, yeah, Fresno State recruited him, but he's like, yeah, I'd rather go to USC. I want to go to Los Angeles. It's like, that's how it is, man. You're gonna, like, the top people are gonna go to certain places. Like, they don't want to live in certain places, you know, and that's fine. Once again, that's nothing to do with the place itself, you know.
Knockoff is good, but I found out psychic noise is better. It goes through substitute and prevents healing for 2 turns. Also home to champions transfers and maintenance right now.
Yeah, that's the reason why I haven't downloaded it yet, Justin. And shout out to Justin. Thank you for the multiple donos. We're gonna get you on the board here. $9 on the board. You are now the Hokage. Anybody does $9 or more, you can beat up my man Justin. But also Chrono Rig with the $5. Thank you for the big 5. I appreciate that. You are the stream ninja, the top ninja. Anybody does 5 more, you can beat up my man Chrono Rig. We got 14 on the board. We're already close to the first 15-minute extension. Let's go. Combo breaks. Yeah, mods, let them know in terms of the debate. The PS5 Pro Japan sales, damn. Yeah, like, they've tanked. This is more of a social experiment, more so than it is. I don't care about the PS5 Pro sales in Japan. I mean, I doubt Sony cares too much either. But this is an experiment. I want to see who actually reports on this. That's all. I want to see who actually reports on it from major media, and I'll create content out of it if I don't see the reports. Because it's a factual report. And I also got grokked. Somebody tried to grok me on Twitter with the PS5 Pro sales. Somebody tried to grok me as well, man. I was like, what? I got grokked. And the funny thing is that they tried to grok me, but it didn't work. They tried to grok me, but it didn't work because Grok agreed with my post. Grok agreed with my post and said, yeah, man, no, there was a big, there's a big issue here. There's a big issue here. So I think let me see here. Let me see if I can find the Grokker. Where'd the Grokker come from? I can't find it. Oh man. I had it. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I was trying to get Grok. But no, this person follows me, so maybe they oh, never mind. No, he was not trying to grok me. Never mind. He was not trying to grok me. He was making a joke. He was making a joke using Grok. Oh man. So he was using Grok to make a joke. Never mind. My bad. I'm not gonna expose the Grokker because he's cool. But let's go ahead and let's take a look here though. Then we'll talk about Rhythm Heaven Groove. We'll talk about some other things as well. Chrono with another $5 dono. Let's go. Yo, I need to put speech to text for I would say at least five and up for super chat. I need to do that. I keep on forgetting to do that, and I've been forgetting to do that like every single year for like the last like half decade. Thank you so much. Chrono Rig with the 5 says it's also infrastructure. Places like Cali and New York have transportation like buses and trains to get around. Blaming a state is dumb. Yeah, I mean, like, once again, California, I live here obviously, so some people were accusing me, oh, you're just rushing to protect your state. Dude, I've talked a million bad things about California. I do not like the high taxes. I do not like some of like the fraud stuff that goes on, like, not to get into politics. Like, I don't like a lot of things. There's a lot of things that I don't like. But at the same time, you're seeing the same thing happen in other places. Like, how many other countries and how many other places have we seen layoffs happen? It's just, yes, the area where there's the most developers from historically ground roots is going to be where there's the most layoffs. Yes, if you put a bunch of grenades in one country, you're going to have more grenade deaths than other countries that don't have grenade deaths. That's really what it is. It's an abundance of developers being hired and employed here. If you take that and move them somewhere else, or whatever the case is, like, if the game doesn't perform, they're going to get laid off too. Cost of living isn't going to help them, especially with greedy corporations, inflation, and all sorts of stuff. You can get that booty laid off just as fast in South Carolina as you will California if your game doesn't perform up to expectations. So we're going to talk about that today. So we'll discuss that. Shout out to Chrono Rig. Thank you for another 5. I appreciate that. I meant to put you up on the you're the Hokage now with the 10, two 5s. So that gets you up to 10. You are now the new Hokage. Anybody does 10 or more, you can type or pass up Chrono Rig. Thank you so much, man, for the multiple donos today. I appreciate it, Chrono Rig. I remind you after the stream to add speech to text and super chats. Yeah, thank you. Blue Point was Texas, right? Where was Blue Point? I don't know where Blue Point was, but Sony doesn't have all their studios in California. I know the Firewalk, that was not that. I think that was Washington. I know Highguard, that was California, but it's like, dude, Highguard flopped. It would have got shut down no matter where it was. Like, it doesn't matter where, it would have got shut down regardless, you know, or they would have got let go regardless. Let's see here. Wages are too high over there. Time to make games in Europe, Korea, and China. A lot of games are already being made in Europe, Korea, and China. That's the thing. A lot of games are already being made in all of those places. And once again, just because if you make games there, I mean, Americans don't want to move to Korea or move to Europe or move to China in order to make the games. They have family, they have friends, they have infrastructure, they have business, they have stuff here. So people don't want to move over there just to make a game. They want to live here and do it. But once again, it's not about wages. That is a scapegoat that the greedy corporations, which, like I said, when we do our debate, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. So that's a scapegoat to essentially get people to say, oh, well, it's just too high, instead of paying people what they're owed. The gaming industry is the most profitable industry in the world. The gaming industry is the most profitable industry in the world. There is money, okay, for these developers to be paid and for these games to make money. It is not like a black and white type of thing. There is nuance in between. It's not, oh, they're too high, move them to over there. That doesn't even make any sense. So remove many developers, remove what they're getting paid, remove all that, and take it to Europe and move all of that business to Europe. You know how devastating that would be for the economy here in the US? Like, that's insane. That's a stupid idea. Like, and I don't recommend that. I do not recommend that at all. Isn't Epic in Georgia? Oh, don't worry. We'll have a list. Let's see. A report published by Supplier for Japanese retail chain said sales of the used Switch 2 games surpassed the total sales of PS5 in March in the country per Necro Felipe. I'll check that out, Elias. Thank you. Blue Point is Texas. Okay, so you've got Blue Point in Texas, right? So that's where everyone say they should move things. And, you know, no state tax, cheaper. I mean, Texas is. It used to be kind of. It's actually kind of expensive to be in Texas now, but. Also, Kevin with the $2 dono and says, what up, OJ? How can I get any music from Skies of Arcadia? Yes, you can. Thank you for the $2. That does get us to 21 on the combo board. We are humming along. 9 more combos, guys, and we've got a 30-minute extension on today's stream. Let's go. We don't need American devs, though. Look at Expedition 33, The Witcher 3, and Baldur's Gate 3. That's exactly the reason why we do need American devs, because I don't care for any of those games, really, except for Expedition 33. That's the only game that I actually care about out of those 3. So no, I disagree on that one. I definitely disagree. And The Witcher 3, I hate that game. I don't hate it, but it's not that great to me. Baldur's Gate 3, don't care. So that's exactly why, no, we actually do need other American devs and everything like that. Absolutely not. Let's see here. Jason Wade with the 7 months. Thank you so much, Jason Wade. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Jason Wade. I enjoy being a member. Thank you for being a member, man. I appreciate it. Let's go. Let's see here. I don't think Expedition 33 was mediocre. I think it was very good. I think Expedition 33 was fantastic, but just because you mentioned 3 games, oh, well, I guess we don't need devs in America. That's insane. Like, yes, we do. Yes, we do. And trust me, you don't think, is the cam a little blurry or not? I don't think the cam's blurry. Just because, and here's the thing though, guys. The more success that you have, the more the developer, you don't think the developers of Expedition 33 are going to want a pay bump? You think they're going to keep working for the same low cost they worked after a huge multi-million hit? No, they're all going to get pay bumps. So their salaries are all going up. Trust me. If they haven't already went up, their salaries are going up. So they're gonna want to get paid too. People in the cost of living in Europe isn't cheap. Those are French developers. France is not a cheap country to live in. It's not a cheap country. Now, food is a bit cheaper, but it's not a cheap country to live in. It's not like, oh yeah, France, that's the cheapest ever. No, it's not as expensive as California per se, but it's not cheap. They're gonna want to get paid too. You think they're just gonna work for pennies and work for peanuts for forever after selling 6 million copies? No. There's no major developers in Africa. There's indie developers in Africa, but there's no major like game studios that make like big AAA games there. Africa does not have the infrastructure or networking to have big AAA games yet. Exactly. We need devs from all countries. We need devs from all countries, from all areas, from all walks of life. That's how you make the best industry, not just stockpiling them in places where you think you can get cheap labor. That's insane. Let's see here. Now cam's good. Okay, maybe my glasses were a little smudgy. Plus my camera was also off. I don't know. I thought I did a good job of that beforehand, but maybe not. Let's see. I'm sure there's devs in Africa. Probably, like I said, just I mean, I'm from Africa. Well, my family is. I'm Nigeria in particular. That country within Africa, because Africa is a continent, not a country. Yeah, there's like indie devs and stuff like that, but like there's not like any major, like there's not like a Square Enix or anything like that, you know, or like a Nintendo or like a company like that in Africa. There's none. Once again, infrastructure. The problem with Africa's infrastructure, stability and infrastructure is off, is just not great in a lot of places. I think maybe like South Africa, there might be a little bit more there, like in South Africa. I think like Johannesburg or something like that. But no, for the most part, yeah, India has devs. Yes, India, like I said, indie devs, but they don't have anything major. No, but they have like there are definitely indie devs that are creating different games there. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm tired of seeing announcements of gaming companies doing layoffs. I mean, I think we all are, man. We all are doing that. We all are. Hey, what's up, Mr. Davis? Welcome. Free Japanese games, African games, Japanese ones for free. I'm not sure what games you're talking about, Mr. Davis. What's up? I'm really happy about the Rhythm having pricing. Yeah, it's okay. It's $40, so everybody should go out there and buy it, right? It's a $40 game. Variable pricing from Nintendo. I did not see many people talking about it though. Seems like they don't care about that one when it comes to that price. So let's see here. Okay, we also have. Justin also with the 3.
My MVP in Champions. Nobody knows how to handle it because of the set it has is very different than the usual. Lol.
Okay. I'll see if I can handle a weirdier when I play against you, Justin. I'll see if I can handle. Looks like you're doing some good competitive battling, man. I like it. I like it. You're probably gonna cook my team. I'm probably gonna get washed. Shout outs to Justin. Thank you for another 3. That gets you to 12 on the board. You are back at the Hokage. We got a tie going back and forth. Shout outs to Justin. Appreciate that. Anybody does 12 or more, you can put Justin on the board. Also, Chrono Rig still got the 5 on there. Thank you for the top ninja. Let's go. 6 combos away from a 30-minute extension. Let's go. Rockstar has been big, has a big team in India. Yeah, that's not the same. We're not talking about like developers who like, you know, like American develop, or actually no, Rockstar. I think that's a European, right? A little bit different, but yeah, like I think that's like a Q&A team or something like that, or they have like an auxiliary team there. I'm talking about like you know, born like studio leads, born and bred and raised in that country. Not, oh, we're gonna shoot off something to you know to save money. Like we're gonna throw a team or whatever, an offshoot in like Mexico or something, like in order like Rockstar Mexico or Rockstar this, so we can save some money on labor for certain things. So I'm not talking about that. Yeah, bricks. I thought so. Yeah, I know Rockstar, but I'm not talking about that. So you should specify U.S. when you say America, because Canada is also America. I mean, and also, technically speaking, America is also, you got South America. So when I say America, I don't mean, I mean, I don't really mean Canada, but I mean, if you want to throw them in there, that's fine. You can throw them in there, but I don't really mean, Canada's just a really big country with like a lot of people that, like, there's like nobody that lives there sometimes. Canada's the biggest country where nobody lives. There is just so much wildlife and just nothing in Canada. It's a huge country. It's big, but it's like the population is really low considering the size of the land. So I don't mean Canada. I just mean the U.S. Sorry. So yes, I should specify because America does mean, you know, you have North America, you have South America. So America, South America, it's all America. Let's see here. What's the latest release date for the new Star Fox? Just summer, Yak Diesel. Summer for that. Naughty Dog, Santa Monica Studios, Insomniac, EA, Blizzard, Respawn, Obsidian, and like hundreds more just in Cali. Yeah. A lot more. You guys can give me more people. Like, can you guys give me more companies that have also been shut down? Let me know about all the companies that have been shut down that are outside of California. I know Sony shut down quite a number. I know Microsoft is shut down. Where was what's it called? What's that one team that made Hi-Fi Rush? Shinji Mikami Studio. What were they called? And where were they at? I think Bethesda bought them, but then after Bethesda bought them, where were they located? Tango, weren't they in Japan? Tango. So there you go. Apparently BioWare is from Canada. BioWare's had layoffs, but I don't think it's been anything. Has BioWare had anything too crazy? Says Europe is where the quality is at. The contract work in Montreal and in California don't cut it anymore. Yeah, I don't know about all that. Your audio cut out for a second. I thought it was just me. Oh, that's not my fault. That's YouTube's fault because my audio has been telling me that I've been going just fine. So sorry for that in terms of YouTube. Sound off. Is my audio still off? Let me know in the chat, guys. Is my audio, because like it's telling me my audio is fine. It's telling my audio is good. So I don't know if my audio is not working. That's on YouTube right now, but it's telling me my audio is good. Yeah, they did get bought by this other, but I'm talking about when they got fired. Tango, yeah, Tango, that was Japan as well. Epic Games is in Cary, NC. I've been there one time. It's like a college campus. Okay, yeah, so Epic Games as well. And they had huge layoffs. Epic Games. And that's in North Carolina, right? So then they do Fortnite and all that. Need more free games? There's plenty of free games already, Mr. Davis. Just go on the online and you can look. There's like a bazillion free games out there. Yeah, reload the stream. Okay, yeah, I think for some people there were some issues with when it comes to it. Give me 1 second. Let me double check everything's okay, like with the internet too, okay? Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. Okay. Looks like everything should be good. On my end. Everything should be good. So yeah, if there's any issues, guys, and that definitely means it's YouTube tripping today. if there are any issues. And talk about Japanese one because Sony get good ones for free. Japanese. Well, we'll see, Mr. Davis. Hopefully we get more free ones on Switch too then. Metal Gear Solid movie. That'd be pretty cool. They can do one. But yeah, plus, did you hear the news on specific release date for new Star Fox? No, I've done 2 videos and it's just summer. Nate never gave a specific release date, just summer. So I'm guessing it's not July. I'm guessing it's not June. It's not July. I mean, it could be June. It could be after Yoshi, but we'll see. Apparently, there's going to be a announcement in April for the game, like on Nintendo Today or just on Twitter. So look out for that. Then we'll probably get a release date then. Volition Studio, the one who did Saints Row from Illinois, shut down. Oh, there we go. Another one. And they're from Illinois. Let's see here. YouTube just being YouTube. I mean, I will say this. YouTube is still by far like the best place in my opinion to stream. I think it's actually eclipsed Twitch at this point when it comes to it, because you have unlimited quality that you can do. They don't put hampers on you. Obviously, like the little like YouTube Premium. There's like a lot of things that's good about it. Firewalk in Washington DC was shut down. Yeah, Firewalk was Washington. Yeah, shut down. Let's see here. Shout out to PlayerEssence. Let's go. Nate said he had heard but not confirmed Star Fox Reveal will be next week. He didn't say anything about next week. No, unless that's new information. I didn't see that. He just said that he doesn't want to share at this time the timing of the announcement. He didn't say anything about that. I think what he was talking about next week was potentially like a state of play or something like that for the for PlayStation. Dane with the $3 dono. Let's go.
Companies usually stay where they're founded, and some industries also create networks of talent in that city as well, i.e. tech and Hollywood. Tech was established in SF, movies were established in LA. They don't want to uproot employees for no reason.
A lot of places like movies, they now film outside of California because of taxes, and I understand that. But like I said, when I have my debate, I'm gonna talk about the real issues and the real problems when it comes to layoffs, because it's a two-way street. You got to hire the person to fire the person. So we're gonna talk about a lot of different things. So it's gonna be interesting once again. Thank you for the $3, 27 on the board. We are 3 combos away from 30-minute extension. Thank you guys so much for your support today. You guys have been awesome already. And shout out to everybody dropping their own knowledge too when it comes to different gaming stuff. Leakers are shady in my mind. It can be fun to get leaks, but the gray area for sure. Looking at this list, there's from Canada, Texas, only a few from California, recent shutdowns. Well, I mean, yeah, there's been, I mean, you got the High Guard studio. Like, there's a lot. There's definitely a lot. But like I said, a lot of the employees, it's from here. It's from here. So it's like, yeah, once again, you put a bunch of grenades in one place, there's going to be more grenade accidents than other places. Like if you give people a lot of access to a lot of grenades, like let's say one place gets 5 million grenades, another place only gets 100,000 grenades. Well, the place with 5 million grenades is probably going to have more grenade accidents and grenade problems than the other place that doesn't have that. So that's really what it comes down to, you know? And mismanagement. Of course, it's mismanagement. But once again, I've got we're going to have a whole discussion on that. So hopefully he shows up. If he doesn't, then that's fine. I'm just going to lay out, that. So it looks like he's going to come, though. He says about 45 minutes from now, just audio, right?
Well, Pokemon Champions, the whole game is also in maintenance until 8 o'clock my time. Dang, the addiction is real. Lol, back to Shinobi.
Shout out to Justin with another $3 dono. 15 on the Hokage board. And then Daniel with the $2 says MGS movie confirmed being made by Sony. Oh, okay. So there is a real MGS movie. Okay, gotcha. Confirmed. Nice, good stuff. So it's actually real. I thought somebody was saying MGS movie would be nice. That's cool. I'm definitely gonna, I mean, if it looks good, I'm gonna go see it, of course. Like, but yeah, an MGS movie's awesome. That is great. Hopefully it's good. I mean, Sony's doing it, so it should be solid. Or solid enough, at least. I mean, the Uncharted movie was was okay. It was good. It wasn't bad. And of course they do the Spider-Man movies, right? Or they help with the Spider-Man movies. So big love to Daniel. Thank you for the 2. Shout outs to Justin with the 3. Gets us to 15 on the board. Hey yo, Justin, anybody that's 15 or more, that's a Toby Blaster. You can type or beat out Justin. And thank you to Daniel for confirming that with us right now as well. And of course, combo breaks and overclocks. Let's go.
Overclock Buster!
And Justin, yeah, he's addicted to Pokemon Champions. He keeps on playing it, which there's some good things about it. They just got to shore up some other stuff in the meantime, right? Add more Pokemon, things like that. Make sure that there's no problems with Pokemon Home. I would really like a Switch 2 version of the game for like 60 FPS and better, you know, just better everything. But, you know, like I said, we'll see. So, let's see here. They do a lot of filming outside of LA, but the execs and talent still live in Hollywood. Yeah. A lot of them still like to live there, but they film outside of there. Next combo's up, guys. Next one up at well, let me see here. 13? Yeah, 13, and we'll get a 45-minute extension. We are already humming. So like I said, we should have him on in the next 25 minutes or so. 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Microsoft and Sony keep mismanaging their studios like crazy, like last gen, and big studios like Embracer Group to buy way too much. Yeah, exactly. That's a big problem right there. It's mismanagement. That's really what it is. As somebody, I've worked in management, I've worked in project management, I've worked in that, and like a lot of the times, like when you have failures of certain big, large scale logistics and all that, it's because of management. Most of the time, it's really because of that. It's not because of where you are, or it's not because of the taxes in the state that you live in, or it's not because you know, California, or it's really because of mismanagement. It's really because you misjudged something on the market. Like, you misjudged it, and unfortunately it didn't work out for you. There's very rare times when everything comes together perfectly and people still just are screwed. Like, it happens sometimes, don't get me wrong. There's definitely times of that happening, but a lot of the time it's because of mismanagement from upper management, and that's what screws things. And guess who gets the axe first? Well, the people underneath you. That's really what happens. Let's see. That aren't going to add more Pokemon until likely the next regulation. What is the next regulation? What is that? I know it's always when I buy a new studio. It's when people get laid off. When they buy a new studio, people get laid off. I mean, sometimes even when they don't buy new studios, people get laid off. So, I mean, but yeah, I mean, that can obviously happen too. If your budgets kind of, you know, get really high, then yeah, they're going to look to cut people. What doesn't matter where you live, you know? Let's see here. Everything rises and falls on leadership. A lot of it is, man, because they're the ones who are appropriating the funds. Google say how expensive and long development were for AAA games and said, nope. Google, oh yeah. They said we're out, man. They said we're out. So it's just one of those things, man. Just one of those things. It's rough. It's a rough time in the game industry right now. Some developers, like I saw Kiwi Talks discuss this on one of his, like, with a Rockstar developer, like a former Rockstar developer. He still hasn't like found a job. It's been like a year, and like he still hasn't found a job yet. It's just like terrible out there, you know. What do you guys think about Rhythm Heaven too? We got Rhythm Heaven that's coming on July 2nd, so we can talk about the Nintendo Switch 2 lineup for this week as well, or this year. I think that Nintendo's going to have a direct right there. I think June seems to be either May or June. I think it could come in May, but like June seems to be likely when it comes to a big direct, because you have all of your games that are like that you've already talked about for the most part. Not everything, but you have everything pretty much lined up, and you have all your Switch 1 games. Now, I asked this in my video. Do you guys know of any Nintendo first-party Switch 1 games that are coming out after Rhythm Heaven Groove? I think that's the last one that I can think of. This might be the end of an era. This might be the end of Switch 1 games, because Tomodachi Life is this month, I think next week, right? The 16th. And then, yeah, and then Rhythm Heaven is July. So, like, that might be that they might be done. They might be done after that. Let's see if the next WarioWare game gets announced. It could come on both Switch 1 and Switch 2. Well, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about WarioWare. What's up, Jazzy? E3 season is June regularly? Yeah. I mean, well, E3's been done for a hot minute, but yeah, that's around the time of that. So it looks like maybe it's going to be around there. What's up, Gangsta Slayer? Welcome, man. How you doing today? Regulation is set rules. Okay, never mind. You deleted it. Studios need to find a way to lower the game budgets. Yeah, I think that's really the bigger thing. I mean, a lot of the game budgets is marketing. So marketing is just expensive. So like, you know, TV commercials or just like marketing the game is very pricey for a lot of people. You know, Deca Police. Yeah, Nintendo, that's not a first-party game. Deca Police is a third-party game. I didn't say third-party games, guys. There will be third-party Switch 1 games for years to come. I said first-party Nintendo Switch games, not third-party. First-party. But I mean, yeah, if theoretically speaking, could WarioWare be announced for both? I mean, sure, it could be. But I'm talking about games that we already know about, not hypotheticals in the future of games that are not announced yet, you know? Nintendo already stated they were winding down Switch 1 development. They did. They stated that a bit back that they were. So I was just wondering if there was any other games, like, because I said it's the end of the era in my video today. But shout outs to Jazzy. Good to see you here, brother. How you doing today, man? Nate said Kirby Switch 1. Oh yeah, there's still Planet Robobot, but once again, that's Nate. That's not officially announced by Nintendo, so we can't count that until Nintendo actually announced that, or if they decided to put the kibosh on that one, you know. So we actually don't, we can't say Kirby because that's not an official announcement. So we're talking about official first-party games announced. There is no official Kirby Planet Robobot announced yet. So we'll see about that. Will Star Fox come to Switch 1? No, Star Fox will not come to Switch 1. Yeah, right. No, Star Fox. I don't think there's not going to be any big AAA game announcements or like big franchise revivals, and they're gonna be like, oh yeah, here's the Switch 1 version. Like, I doubt it. Like, we haven't got a single one really. Rhythm Heaven is old. They announced that in 2025, right? Like at the Nintendo Direct. They announced Tomodachi Life a while back, but they haven't announced any new Switch games since the Switch 2, since that March Direct. I don't think there's been a single new Switch 2 game announcement. I mean, we had Pokemon Champions, but I think that was also known before then as well, so really I don't think there's really going to be any new Switch 1 announcements. I mean, there might be, but yeah, we'll see. Maybe the next Switch Sports, maybe that could be a Nintendo Switch 2 edition, like where they just do a Switch 2 edition of Switch Sports. They could do that. Yo, shout out to Justin with another $3 dono.
Yoshi Woolly World was leaked in the Switch 2 Direct as a backwards compatible game.
Okay, so a backwards like, I wonder how they're gonna do that then. Are they just gonna make a Switch 2 edition of the game, or just like how are they gonna do that, like as a backwards compatible game? So like how are they gonna do that? So I guess they're gonna make a Switch 2 version of the game, or a Switch 1 version of the game. Sorry, like a Switch 1 version of the game. Okay, yeah. I think that's, there you go. They're gonna make like a Switch 1. Okay, we'll see. That might be a Switch 2 edition or something like. But then wait a minute, it never came out on Switch 1 yet, then, right? So we'll see how that works. Is Fortune Weave confirmed Switch 2 only? Yes, it's confirmed Switch 2 only. Do you guys not watch the actual trailers where they show if something's coming to Switch 2 or Switch 1? Do you guys not actually watch the trailers, Alvin? Do you guys not watch or listen to my videos? Where it literally says just Switch 2 and it doesn't say anything about Switch 1. I'm wondering if y'all actually even watch some of this stuff, because we've already talked about this. This is old news. Fire Emblem was announced last year and it's only on Switch 2. They didn't say anything about Switch 1. So I'm wondering if y'all actually even watch my videos or even look at the trailers that are out there. If you guys are asking about games that were confirmed only Switch 2, if they're coming to Switch 1. I'm wondering. But anyway, no, guys, any game that's been announced, if you have to question whether it's coming to Switch 1 or not, it's not. Like, if it's like a big game like Fire Emblem, or if it's like, you know, what's the other, like Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. If you have to say, did they probably did it, because they would have announced it in the trailer. People would have been talking about it. You would have known. We would have discussed it here. Y'all here all the time. So, Y'all gotta look at the trailers. Like they'll tell you if it's Switch 1 and Switch 2. They don't hide things. They don't hide them. So they always say what systems it's coming to. They always say what systems it's coming to. So, but it's all good, Alvin. It's all good. But no, Fire Emblem, Switch 2 only. And I'm thankful that it's only Switch 2. I don't want another crusty Fire Emblem. Give me Switch 2. I mean, Fire Emblem's a game that the fans will migrate for. Like, it makes sense for, like, Tomodachi Life for Switch 1. That makes sense. Rhythm Heaven Groove, okay, that makes sense. Give it to the large audience. You know, and of course, Switch 2 owners, you can play it backwards compatible. But big games like Fire Emblem, big games like Star Fox, big games like Ocarina of Time Remake. Although that could, I mean, if they wanted to make Ocarina of Time Remake on the Switch 1, I'm pretty sure that they could. But, like, the big games, like, those just need to be Switch 2 because there is a really big power gap between them. And Nintendo's not a third-party company. They're first-party. So if you want to sell your system, you got to have those exclusives, you know? So, what's up, Donnie? Welcome. PS4 and Switch 1, hell yeah. Yeah, PS4 and Switch 1. They're going to be around for a long time. They're going to be around for a really long time. Switch 1 is done. First party wise Switch 1 era is done. We'll probably see Switch 1 games from third party like Digimon. Yeah, we'll see Switch 1 games from third party. I think is the new Legend of Heroes. Trails in the Sky. Like the Trails in the Sky game, the second chapter, is that coming to Switch? I think that's also coming to Switch 1, right? Hey, what's up, Vadsent? Welcome. Are you okay, brother? Oh, you just slipped? Okay, whoa. I'm glad that you're doing okay. People are asking if you're okay. I'm glad that you're doing okay, Vadsent. Shoutouts, man. How are you doing today, brother? So full Switch to exclusivity for first party, you think? I think for the most part, yes. There might be something here or there, maybe like a Switch 2 edition. But I think for a lot of the big new games, like Star Fox or like Ocarina of Time or Fire Emblem, yeah, I think it's just going to be Switch 2. I mean, even Yoshi, that's not on Switch 1. So, I mean, if Yoshi's not on Switch 1, then I'm guessing that they're really just moving over to Switch 2, like full-scale Switch 2 development, so. I think the last Switch game will be Kirby Planet Robobot. Yeah. I mean, that could happen. That could happen. That could be like, hey, we got maybe even like a Switch 1 and Switch 2 version of Kirby Planet Robobot. But we'll see. Or maybe they make a collection. Maybe they decided to do both, like Planet Robobot plus Kirby Triple Deluxe. Put them together. I mean, they could. We'll see. I think that the Kirby team needs more time. They like to have Kirby out like pretty frequently, but they need more time to make the next big 3D Kirby game. I think they're gonna probably take like another couple years or so to have like the next like Kirby and the Forgotten Land Part 2 or something like that, or number 2. So I think that they're gonna need some other games in the middle, like to kind of help out. Like we got Kirby Air Riders last year. I don't know if there's gonna be a Kirby game this year, but we'll see. But I'm guessing that there will be something Kirby when it comes to like a remaster, or remake, or something like that. Why not 3DS for Fortune's Weave? This Nintendo being greedy? Yes, Nintendo's always greedy. Yes. Okay, second chapter is also on Switch 1. Okay, there you go. Have you seen the Mouse PI for higher Switch 2 specs? No, I haven't. Isn't that just like an indie game with like cartoon drawings and stuff like that? What's the specs? Just a bit lightheaded, but I will give it. I gotta take it easy. Yeah, make sure you drink water. Eat some food. Yeah, eat some food. Drink water. That's good. Sorry about that, Vadsent. Yo, Big Justin with another 3.
It wouldn't be the first time a Kirby was one of the last games on a system. Lol.
Yeah, that's true. I think the NES, right? Wasn't that? And there might have been another one or two. I know Kirby's been some of the later games put on Nintendo platforms. So, thank you so much. I appreciate another $3 from Justin. Gets us to 21 on the board. Ayo, we are only, what is that, 7? Yes, 7 combos away from the 45-minute extension. Thank you so much, man. We might still get those Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess, Ninmar, so don't count them out just yet. I'm sure Switch 1 will get Just Dance games for the next decade. Oh my gosh, Just Dance, dude. Just Dance is crazy. Just Dance is crazy. Sorry, I don't watch. I listen in between dishes, work, or talking to my wife. Oh, okay, I got you, Alvin. Nah, you're good, brother. You're good. I was really more just teasing you more so than anything. But yeah, to answer all your questions, yeah, anything like Fire Emblem, all the big games, those are Switch 2 confirmed. Only Switch 2, no Switch 1. So you're good, brother. You're good. Don't take our teasing seriously. We love you over here. You know that. They have Kirby every year, so they probably announced something at a Direct. Yeah, maybe. What's up, the cool guy? I feel like Nintendo learned the lesson, trying to put GameCube, Wii games on 3DS, trying to extend the life, and realize they wasted resources on what could have been Switch 1 games. Maybe. But we'll see. Once again, we will see. I think the big difference is that Switch 1 sold significantly better than the 3DS. So I can understand if they were trying to extend things out a little bit, but I mean, based off of what we're seeing here, I mean, they're still supporting. I mean, we're going on a year of the Switch 2, and they're still supporting it with some games all the way to July. So that is 1 year of actual extra support of games coming out. So they did support it. So I know 3DS was how long? How long did they support the 3DS? I think they supported the 3DS for a few years after the Switch 1 came out. I think even 2019 there was games. So like 2 years later, there was games from first-party games from Nintendo for the 3DS. When did the game stop? Like, what was the last first-party game?
Valuable items
For the 3DS. Shout-outs to Mew with the gifted membership. First gift of the stream. Thank you so much, Mew. I appreciate that. Remember, guys, we do have Elite Ninja gifts that you can do as well. I appreciate the gift. And also, if you want to become a member yourself, if you enjoy the Kirby in the background, you enjoy the live streams, the discussion, the interaction, you can become a member. It's only $1 a month, so it's cheaper than a double cheeseburger. They used to be $1. They used to be $1. It's cheaper than that. So I appreciate all the Elite Ninjas that are here and people that support. Thank you guys so much, man. I appreciate it. Let's go. Mew2215 with the gifted membership. Who got the gift? Daniel M got the gift. Yo, let's go. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let's go. Let's get 40 on the board. We are close. 5 combos away. 40 extension. 3 hours. We're going for it. We're going for it all. Oscar Isaac is playing Solid Snake in the Metal Gear Solid movie. Oscar Isaac. I don't know who that is, but I'll look it up for sure. Kirby Epic Yarn was the last first-party 3DS game. Kirby Epic Yarn. So 2 years of support post-launch. Yeah, I think Nintendo might have learned to say, you know what? Only 1 year of support post-launch for like the new system. It didn't affect the sales though. I mean, like Switch 1 still sold really good. I'm sure they'll send you the teaser with sound DMs. Hey man, take your time, Bad Set, man. Take your time, brother. I'd like to see the new Star Fox and Ocarina of Time on Switch 1. No. Wendigo, no. I would not like to see those on Switch 1. No. I would not like to see those on Switch 1. No, that's you just being, that's just you being cheap. You don't want to buy a Switch 2. No, I would not like to see those on Switch 1. So it's going to look like Star Fox Zero and then just be a better resolution Star Fox Zero on Switch 2. No, I would not. I do not. If the Switch 1 had more power and if the gap was closer, like if the law of diminishing returns was like PS4 and PS5, then I'd be more willing to say, okay, yeah, no problem. But it's not. The Switch 1 baseline is way lower than the PS4's baseline. So no, I would not actually. No. You just don't stop being cheap, bro. You need to start saving up. I don't know what country you live in. I don't know what bills you got and all that. And I sympathize with you. Switch 2 is expensive compared to Switch 1, but you can still trade in that Switch 1. You can sell it. You can store your data on their server and you can trade it in. So when you're ready to trade it in, you can do that. You need to let it go. Like Elsa, you need to let it go, fam. Listen, I like Switch 1. I think it's one of the greatest systems of all time. I think it has one of the best libraries of all time, but its time is past. It's time. You're on borrowed time. Your time is past, brother. Let's see here. Since there's 2 games take longer to develop, they probably transition over faster. Maybe, we'll see. Let Switch 1 rest. It's tired, boss.
Let the Switch One rest its tired boss.
Yeah, it's tired, man. It is so tiring. We just need it to. We don't need it. We don't need it around, man. It's done. We don't need it around. So yeah, that's the thing. Just want Custom Robo 2. I don't know if Custom Robo's ever coming back. The developer of that game doesn't work for Nintendo, doesn't have any relationship with Nintendo anymore. So maybe they bring it back in some way, though. You know, I'd like to see Xenoblade 4 on Switch. LOL, OJ. Yeah, right. You guys are out here with the cap today. Oh, man. Let's see here. Guy from Ex Machina. I don't watch movies or TV shows, so I don't really know a lot of actors, I'll be honest. Like, I only know, like, the popular ones, like Denzel Washington and, like, the Pedro Pascal, or, like, you know, like, the Marvel people, like, you know, Chris Evans, and, like, you know, the black guy, Papa Doc. You know, stuff, guys like that. I don't know all the other, like, movie actors and stuff like that. The new Captain America, black dude. And stuff like that, like Jonathan Majors. Like, I don't really know, like, all the different, like, actors from, like, certain shows and stuff. Switch 2's glorious. Switch 2's still cheaper than other consoles of this gen. Switch 2's only going to raise up in value, same as the PS5. Well, we'll see. I hope they can. And listen, if Nintendo can keep the system at $450, I think that'd be awesome. I want to see a new 3D Mario on the Wii or Virtual Boy. You got to go back. Let's just not even Switch 1. Let's just go back before that, you know? Let's go back before that, man. I generally hope Star Fox is Switch 2 exclusive. I mean, I'm pretty sure that it is. I mean, we haven't gotten a single new Switch 1 game announcement in a year. So it's been 1 year since we've gotten a Switch 1 game announcement. So I doubt they're going to start announcing Switch 1 games now. And Nintendo already did state that, hey, they're already moving over to Switch 2 development. So it's one of those things to where I doubt it, because I think that Switch 2 development takes longer and takes more resources, so you don't have the time to be sitting there and making Switch 1 versions of a bunch of games and all that. So I doubt it. And the fact that Nate said that the graphics are ambitious, I think that makes it seem like, yeah, probably just like Switch 2. But like I said, we will see. We will see. Maybe they want to have it on Switch 1 as well. Oscar Isaac was the Moon Knight from Marvel and Miguel O'Hara from Spider-Verse. Yeah, I don't know. I still don't know. My bad. Disagree. Switch 1 hands down the more fun console. It's got buku games. Switch 2 has not proved itself yet. Well, Switch 2 can play everything the Switch 1 can play, and it can also play them better. So in a theory, Switch 2's a better Switch 1 also. Because if you play, for example, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity on your Switch 1, it's gonna run like there's a calamity going on. Like, it's gonna run like a calamity. But if you play Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity on the Switch 2, it actually plays at a locked, decent frame rate. And multiplayer works. Like, it literally goes down to single digits in multiplayer. Like, you can actually play it in multiplayer, and it won't be a stuttering mess. So Switch 2 is the winner. Now, listen, if it was like the Wii to Wii U, where Wii games still play just as crusty and as bad on the Wii U, then you'd have a point. But you don't. Because Switch 2 actually enhances the games. Switch 1 games. So, and you also have the boost mode as well, so you get better quality and better you get better quality and better looking games as well, even in portable mode. So that's the thing. Let's see. I wish Switch 2 had a split pad pro. That's my biggest complaint. Do you loc Switch 2 in handheld mode? I have a what's it called? I have a grip. So a grip works just fine. It makes it to where it's very easy to hold. So if you're worried about split pad pro or whatever the case is, just get a grip, and it makes handheld mode a lot better. Let's see here. Nintendo did smart by raising the price of accessories. They aren't slick with that Switch 1 markup. It's not even about being slick, man. It's freaking stupid tariffs and stupid shipping costs and everything that's went up like crazy. But Switch 1's not selling like anything. Nobody's buying Switch 1 anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, Wii games look worse on Wii U. They look terrible. Wii games look terrible on Wii U. They look... Oh my god. Wii games look so bad. Because it's like, you probably got like a better TV than like a 4.3, 480p TV. So like a lot of Wii games just look like trash on the Wii U, like playing on the Wii U. It just doesn't look good. Skyward Sword looked like somebody just cut the graphics in pieces. I did not enjoy Wii to Wii U backwards. Like, people are, oh, it's backwards. No, it's not. That is the most ghetto, disgusting backwards. Nobody wanted to play Wii games on the Wii U. Like, it's so obtuse and awkward. Oh, bust out the Wii remotes. Like, you can't use the gamepad for, like, controls. Like, it's the worst backwards compatibility Nintendo's done. It's like one of the worst backwards compatibility is Wii to Wii U. It's not good. It's there, but it's not good. Like, it's just not good. Microsoft, Sony, much better backwards compatibility. And Nintendo themselves, even better backwards compatibility with other systems. The DS, for example, or the Game Boy, for example. Those all had much better backwards compatibility. The Wii to Wii U is the worst backwards compatibility. The worst. When are we getting your Xenoblade X review vid? When it's ready, Projo. That's why the remaster of the Wii games, that's why they remaster a lot of Wii games. They did not remaster a lot of Wii games. Like, what do you talk about? You talk about, like, now at this point? Most of the Wii games have stayed dead on the Wii, though. Like, I don't know how many Wii remasters we've gotten. We've gotten what? We've gotten Kirby Return to Dreamland. I think we've gotten I know we got a few more. We got Skyward Sword, but a lot of them have just stayed dead on the Wii. So I have a Switch 2. I think the biggest mistake is calling it Switch 2, but it could have just been called Switch Pro or Super Nintendo Switch. Let me give you a couple reasons why that's a bad idea, Planet. One, you have to say the biggest mistake is calling it Switch 2. It's the fastest selling system of all time, and it's consistently selling more than other consoles out there. So it's selling really good. So I don't see where there's the mistake. A mistake would imply that, oh man, people don't know what it is, or there's a problem because it's called that name. So I disagree. Like, you could say maybe like a Wii U was a mistake because people didn't know, but everyone knows that the Switch 2 is a sequel, is a follow-up to the Switch 1. So I disagree just with that basic premise. When it comes to Switch Pro or Super Nintendo Switch, here's a reason why that's a bad thing. Now, I thought maybe they could call it Super Nintendo Switch, but Switch Pro, that sounds like it's just the same system, but just like a new model of the same system, to where it's going to be able to play the exact same games all throughout, and everything's going to come to both systems. That doesn't imply that there's going to be exclusives like a PS4 Pro or something like that, or like a Xbox One X or a Super Nintendo Switch. Same thing. That implies like there's just like a new model of the same system. The Switch 2 is significantly stronger and is getting a lot of games that aren't coming to Switch 1, first and third party wise. You know, third party Star Wars Outlaws, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Final Fantasy VII. There's like a litany of games that are not available on Switch 1. So I think it's a bad idea to make it off to be like, oh, it's just like a pro model. It's not a new system, it's a pro model, because you're going to get a lot of people wondering, why aren't all of these games like Fire Emblem or Yoshi or the new Star Fox or Ocarina of Time or, you know, Dusk Bloods? Why aren't these games coming to the Switch 1 as well? It's just a pro model. It should be just like PS4 Pro or just like Xbox One X. So I think that's a bad idea, or PS5 Pro. So I think ultimately that's a bad idea, Planet. So no, Switch 2 is a good name. It makes it very clear what it is, that it's a sequel, that it's the next step. So I don't see how that's a mistake based off of what we've seen so far. I don't get that. I don't get how it's a mistake. Counting up is simple. And yeah, if that's the case, then obviously the PS1, the PS2, PS3, PS4, PS5, PS6, that's probably going to be called that. Those were all mistakes too. Not really, you know, so yeah, I disagree. Switch Pro would be worse marketing than the Wii U. It wouldn't be as bad as the Wii U because Switch Pro does have an inclined purpose name, but I still think it'd be a bad idea now looking back at it like a Switch Pro, because it's not a Switch Pro, it's a Switch 2. It's a Switch Pro would be just a bit stronger or an okay amount stronger. Switch 2 absolutely blows the Switch 1 out of the water specs wise. It's legitimately a real next generation jump. Like, the Switch 1 feels more like a pro model, like a pro specs wise to the Wii U than the Switch 1 to the Switch 2. There is a much bigger gap of processing power and capability from Switch 1 to Switch 2 than from Wii U to Switch 1. So Switch 1 seems more like a refined pro model. Maybe what the Wii U should have been was the Switch 1. but the Switch 2 was a full-on jump because, like I said, you're getting games that would never have probably came to the Switch 1 at all, you know. So that's the thing. Whereas a lot of the Wii U games, some of them were just put over onto this on the Switch 1. Do people think before they speak? I mean, there are people that feel that way when it comes to the price, Goat. So I mean, I don't want to demean him and what he had to say. Like I get the sentiment, but I mean, you can always just explain it, you know, in basic terms. Like, but yes, I mean, obviously, it seems a little weird to say that it was a mistake when they're selling so well and it's the fastest selling system of all time, and people know exactly what it is. You know, it's just a matter of getting the money to get one. So I don't see how it's a mistake at all. Like, there's nothing that indicates that it's a mistake so far. Now, will there be in the future? Maybe, but probably not. People know what a Switch 2 is. They know that it's a sequel, so there's not really any problem there, you know? I hated how Nintendo handled going from 3DS to Switch. It was a bit rough from 3DS to Switch. Yeah, it really was a bit rough. I'm waiting for this guy to jump in when he's ready. Yeah, ready when you are. Ready when you are. I'm here. So I'm ready for this guy to jump in. He's going to jump in here. We're going to get this debate. For those who don't know, we're doing a debate on the gaming industry in California and the layoffs and some of the issues there. We're going to be doing a debate on that. He called me naive and I don't know what I'm talking about. And I said that he's stupid. So I will apologize for calling him stupid when he gets here. And he can see if he can make me naive and all that. So... let's see, my little brother still thinks of his Xbox the same as the Xbox One. Xbox One, a terrible name. I think you can look back and probably say the Xbox One is a bad name, yeah. I mean, now that we have history on our side, I mean, I don't think it was the worst name, but I don't think it was a great name calling it Xbox One. And it also makes things weird with the original Xbox. The original, you got Xbox, Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox Series. I mean, the naming conventions aren't great. You know, they're not great. They're not the worst ever. It's not Wii U level, but they're not great. I mean, Nintendo should have just called the Wii 2. They should have just called it Wii 2. They should have just used Wii remotes, and they should have just had a tablet add-on or extension, like a bundle, like a bigger bundle, and like a separate thing. That's what they should have just done. If they did that, they should have just made like Nintendo's Wii Sports 2 and Twilight Princess with, you know, and all that. That's what they should have just done, and it would have been fine. Or not Twilight Princess. Or no, they should have ported Twilight Princess, like HD. Like, they should have got Twilight Princess first on there, like in HD. Just ported that over HD and then have, like, a big Wii Sports 2 or Wii Sports Resort 2. If they would have done that, it probably would have, and like I said, just called it Wii Sport or Wii 2, it would have been probably much more successful. But I'm glad they didn't do that, because if they did that, then we would have never gotten the Wii U, and then the Wii U would have never formed into Nintendo Switch 1. So I think it was a good idea that they didn't do that, you know? I think it was a good idea, because now we don't have to go through the Wii era. I'm not the biggest fan of the Wii era, I'll be honest here, guys. Okay, I think Toby's here, so we're gonna get into the room here, because I think he's here. He's in the waiting room, so let me go in there with him. All right, hey Toby. Okay, his mic is muted. So when his mic is not muted, I think he's still setting up. So once he gets everything set up, then we'll be able to
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. What's up, man? Welcome.
Thank you. Sorry, I can't put on my video.
No, it's fine.
Time for that.
Audio is good. Audio is good. So I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you're a busy guy. We already have everything all set up. I can lay out everything for you. And then we can talk about it, because on Twitter we had an interesting discussion, a little back and forth. I did call you stupid, so I want to apologize for calling you stupid right here, man.
Yeah, no, sorry. I too, when I don't usually like getting personal with arguments, because it's all just fun and games, you know. So I apologize as well, you know.
Yes, sir. Nothing to apologize for, my man. Nothing to apologize for, but I appreciate that. So on Twitter, here was the discussion that I'm going to set it up for the audience first, and then we're going to get into kind of what you were saying and what I was saying. So Legendary Drops, who's a big YouTuber on YouTube, guys, he has, I think he's going on 1 million subs. I know he has like 500,000. He's one of the bigger, kind of like a hybrid of, like, you know, ranting YouTubers of just usually like bad things with the gaming industry. Unless it's something that he likes, then it's something. Then obviously like Expedition 33. Then he'll start talking about how that's like the greatest thing ever, which is fine. That's a great game. But Legendary Drops put up a post on Twitter saying, "Good Lord, 43% of the 40,000 layoffs in the game industry came from California alone. The games industry desperately needs to move out of California to more affordable states. It's better for the industry, the country, the companies, and the workers." So I quote tweeted this post and said, "California is now the new scapegoat. Move all the devs from Cali, and when the layoffs keep happening, you'll find something different to blame it on. The issues are greedy corporate management, underperforming games, and inflation." There's no analysis on the post, just California equals bad. So that was my response to Mr. Legendary Drops. Now, Toby disagreed with that. So, Toby, what is your disagreement when it comes to what I had to say there?
So my disagreement with you is not, like I said, I do agree with you that there's some corporate greed at play here. It's always gonna happen. My major disagreement is really that you can't hand wave the fact that there is some issues with, would I say, a large concentration of the games industry being in California, and because large majority of the studios, a lot of studios are in California. If California is expensive to live in and wages have to be high, it means that video game development cost is going to be high. Just how it is. You can't blame the companies or blame everybody. It's just the fact that California is a great place to live. I've heard. I've not been there, so great place to live. I had great weather. It has the talent. So lots of studios, lots of companies like to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
When the state gets expensive to live, it means they're going to have high wages. And generally, if you look at, based on some of the people I've spoken with in the industry, and most people say that, the wages in California, because of game devs, are higher than most places in America. So, which makes sense because higher cost of living. So, just simply means that if you have so many studios there, like EA, Respawn, Bungie, Riot, if you have so many studios there, Naughty Dog, it means that anything that comes out from those studios is going to be slightly more expensive than anywhere else in the country. So if anything happens in California, it's going to affect a whole large majority of the industry, which is just logical. So I'm not saying you can't just hand wave. Yes, California bad is not like, maybe he was trying to generalize California, but as you said, California has brought a lot of great games. It's where the talent is, unfortunately. But if anything happens there, it's just going to make the whole industry suffer.
Out of the 40,000 layoffs, Toby, do you know how much was due to the cost of California? Like, because there was no analysis on that. So are you aware? So for example, the High Guard developers, High Guard, right? That game.
Yeah.
They were in California. They were in California, but them being laid off had nothing to do with them being from California. They could have been in Antarctica. They would have all got shut down because the game did not perform. The overwhelming majority of times when we see layoffs, it's not because of California. It's not because of wages. It's because the game flopped. And that's the missing analysis from this thing. It's a California bad. Legendary Drops did not look into the games of what happened. Look at Epic Games, for example. Where are they located at? Do you know?
Yeah, North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Right.
What happened to them? They run one of the most profitable, biggest entities in gaming in Fortnite, and they just laid off 1,000+ people. And that has nothing.
Yeah.
North Carolina is one of the most affordable places to live, and they still let people go. And I'm gonna give you a bit more. We have a laundry list of places. How about Blue Point, Texas, completely shut down by Sony? How about Firewalk, Washington? Not a cheap place to live, a bit cheaper than California, but not cheap. But Washington, completely shut down.
Seattle is not cheap, so
Japan. So Japan is one of the cheaper places for game development because you don't have to pay developers. Sony Japan, completely nuked. Tango, the people that made Hi-Fi Rush, completely nuked. Epic Games, Volition Studios, Saints Row, Illinois, Chicago, not the cheapest, nuked. So it's really more about the game. It's not about California bad and the wages. Because if you look at it, remember Activision Blizzard?
Sorry, can I just stop before you go on?
Sure, go ahead.
The thing is, you forget that, as I said, corporate greed is part of it. One of the reasons why studios fire is also to improve margins. If you're going to improve margins for a situation like Sony, for instance, if you look at Sony's past margins in the past, their margins on PlayStation like 2022, 2023 was kind of poor, around 6%, 7% one year. For a big company that's making $1 million, single digit margin, just say 6, 7% is poor. And you can see why when they fired Jim Ryan and they fired everybody, no, it's not fired. When Jim Ryan retired and everybody retired, cool. If you listen to many of the interviews, Herman Holst and Totoki, whatever, the new Sony chairman had, there are a lot of focus on profitability. In fact, I don't think there's any interview Herman has given business-wise that he hasn't talked about staying profitable, being more profitable, because they just had to do it. Unfortunately, they're going to look at, okay, where is the places with the highest wages? Just what they're going to look at and say, okay, let's cut some people from California. Even though these people are bringing in great games. Insomniac had layoffs. This Spider-Man, they did so many things. They were profitable. I think the games have sold well. Why would they cut from Insomniac or they cut from that place? Because at the end of the day, you got to look at where you're going to save.
Sony that is mismanagement of funds, and that is that is not California. That is mismanagement. That is 100% mismanagement, because they're the ones that are hiring people. If you know that you can't keep those people, why are you hiring those people in the first place? And if you want to use contractors because you know that you might not be able to keep them, then use contractors. So that is a management problem. If you know,
that's why management was changed. You can't. We both agree.
Yeah, it's a greedy corporation management problem. Look at Activision over the years. Activision. I'm gonna put up a post for the, you can't see it, but I'm gonna put up a post for the chat to see as well. So this is something, and maybe if you want to check out the stream, I don't know if you're subscribed, if you have the stream, but I will explain it to you, Mr. Toby. I'm going to put up this right here, and it shows Activision Blizzard. Activision Blizzard pays their CEO, Bobby Kotick, over 60 times more than Nintendo's Shuntaro Furukawa. Activision has had numerous layoffs over the year over Bobby Kotick's reign. $155 million compared to Nintendo, who's more profitable than Activision Blizzard, by the way. $2.51 million. So he is being paid 60 times more, yet they're still laying people off. This is nothing. And they have people in California that they've laid off. This is nothing but corporate greed. It is, I agree, some of it might be wages in California for some companies, but the overwhelming majority is mismanagement, bad project management, corporate greed, not using contractors, and trying to hire people on full-time, misappropriating budgets, and then saying, oops, my bad. Not everybody's good at their job. Just because you have a title, not everybody's good at managing different companies. Phil Spencer is not great at managing companies yet. Look at what he did at all the layoffs. That's $1 trillion company. Phil Spencer, by the way, is a multi-millionaire. I think he was being paid somewhere around $25 million plus per a year. So he made way more than anybody at Nintendo, and yet performed significantly worse than Reggie or anybody at Nintendo. This is corporate greed. This is a lot corporate greed.
I won't say it's a lot of corporate greed because, for example, there's this website called Game Layoffs. I think it's GameLayoffs.com. It tracks one of the websites online. It tries to track layoffs of video games. If you look at it, for instance, you see that a place like Unity, for instance, I think they laid off about 1,000 people in the last 2 years. Unity is in California, if I remember. Riot Games laid off people recently. Of course, they had the mishap of their last launch game, the 2K fighting game, whatever that game was. I can't remember the name now.
Okay.
So sometimes it's not just corporate greed. Sometimes I said, companies want to save margins. Sometimes if you look at the list as well, you see maybe for every 20 big studio, you probably have like 5 indie games. One of the things about high wages is the fact that if you have a smaller company and your game flops, it's harder for you to keep people if you're staying in a place like it's more expensive. For example, if you're in Japan, you have a smaller company, your game does not sell too well, but does okay-ish. It's possible you can even keep most of your staff, because your wages are not so high. And if you're selling in the West,
that's not what I'm seeing here, though. Like, I'm not seeing from these companies from the layoffs that we've gotten so far, it doesn't seem like it's wage based. I think it's really based on mismanagement. Look at Blue Point.
Let me give you an example. For example, look at
but real quick before you give me the example, I get what you're saying, but I need to see evidence or proof that California is the cause of this, because I'm giving you many different companies.
I won't say the states. That I think there's a problem. I won't say the states is largely. We actually there's like cost correlation between the states, and it's just business and numbers. Where do you have the most people, most game developers? Most game developers are in California. A lot of studios are in California. So by virtue of having a lot of developers in California, any layoffs will most likely happen in California. That's the first thing I said. That's why I started with the fact that California is a great place to live. There's talent, there's schools. You have a construction of beginning. So that's why the first thing is you're gonna have a lot of layoffs in California because people are concentrated there. The second thing is it is easier to justify laying people off in California because wages are high in California as well. It's just easier. You rather look at if you have a studio maybe in Japan or in California, if you had to pick a certain number to reduce your margin, it's easier to go to the place and maybe outsource some roles in cheaper places. It's easier to go to California and pick. It's not really the fact that California, as far as I'm concerned, has done the industry.
And that's fine. And I agree. Yeah. I agree with you. Yes, the wage, but once again, that is not a California move them. That is a management issue. So I think we can agree that is a management issue. That is not a California high wages issue. That is a management issue.
I still kind of agree that I think we need to move the industry out of California, because I think it's a problem if we have if you have a huge concentration of people there. If anything happens, it affects everybody there in a negative way, because it simply means everybody there is going to be at the edge. Especially if you live in California. For example, here in Montreal in Canada, where you have a high concentration of game industry. The government offers subsidies and many things. A lot of studios moved in there. But if anything happens there and things get more expensive or everything there, lots of people there will lose their jobs. And I also feel that it affects everybody that doesn't want to live in places like Montreal, for instance, in Quebec. They don't want to live there.
No,
it means everybody's gonna be struggling for the remaining jobs.
Canada's cool, but a lot of developers don't want to live there. But I see what you're saying with
it's just one of those things where I feel I agree with him on the part. I said, I think there needs to be a deconcentration. I don't think, it made sense in the beginning, and I think California has done the industry a great amount of servicing for Naughty Dog, to Respawn, many developers, many studios. I won't say they should leave the state completely. I just think I think more people should look at opening studios in other places as well. Just try and open studios in other places.
There's plenty of studios in other places, and they've also met the same fate as studios in California. It is going to be based on performance. It is going to be based on performance and how you do. Let me tell you something right now. All of these studios, all these developers that got laid off from California, let's just say hypothetically speaking, if they made the same games and did the same thing, but they were in, I don't know, Wisconsin, they would have got laid off too. A lot of these developers that have been fired, it's because the margins on what they were trying to do were not good enough. You cannot pay people peanuts to be a developer. If you pay somebody $150,000 a year in California, you're going to pay them here in the US. You're going to still pay them about $100 and something thousand in Wisconsin, or you're still going to pay them. It's not going to be a big difference. The only thing that's going to change for the developer is the profit margins on there, and I don't think it's going to be a big enough difference for them to say, oh well, the project saved. We flopped like Highguard, but we're in Wisconsin, so since we're in Wisconsin and it's much cheaper to live here and the taxes aren't as bad, we're just going to save the whole studio. There will still be tons of layoffs.
It's just what you qualify the quantity of layoffs. How would I put it? It's more easier to say you want to save a game when you don't have a high overhead. Like for example, if you hear many stories of people that are trying to developers that are running low on funds before their next project. Maybe they released the game, didn't do so well. You're looking at, okay, how much overhead do we have for the next couple of months to finish the current game we're working on? Do we need to lay off or keep people? If you're in a place like Wisconsin, that is the difference between laying off 20 to laying off 40. That's just the difference.
Maybe
not necessarily you save the studio, not really, but just tells you the difference. Okay,
that is a hype, maybe, but you can tell that to all the Tell that to Firewalk.
But
Tell
you need to
that to
understand-
Sony Japan. Tell
but
that
you
to
need to understand
Tango. Tell that to.
those are different scenarios. So
Oh, of course
sometimes-
they are. Of course
Yeah,
they
because,
are.
for example, look at Blue Point, for instance.
Okay, what's
I
the
don't
excuse
think
for Blue Point?
Blue Point shutting down was a result of they were not really. First of all, let's look at why would Sony shut down Blue Point. Based on everything I've heard and based on comment, it just seemed that Blue Point wanted to go one direction and Sony wanted to go another direction. And at that point, you ask yourself, okay, do we need to keep them when they want to work on original games? We probably want them to do more remasters. They said they wanted to do original game. They pitched, okay, they know we were trying to go into live service. They pitched a live service to us. We said, okay, give it a try. It didn't work out. And now we're looking, okay, well, you need to look at your next project. And they're like, okay, these pitches are not working out for us. Do you want to keep you on board till you find your next pitch? Or we can take some of you that are talented. We can keep your engine. We can move you to maybe Nixie's or someplace else. And the rest of you, unfortunately, will have to go. These are some of the things that you would think of. Now, I'm not saying it's a great decision to lay off. Like, I felt really angry at Blue Point's closure because I felt that they shouldn't have bought them in the first place. But when you sit down to ask yourself those kind of questions, okay, what will be the leadership? Because at the end of the day, a closure like that was not something that would just happen. Herman would have probably discussed with the whoever the studio director is or whoever the top executive is there, and they would have had a discussion. Okay, what's the way forward? And if they wanted to make, because all indication says they wanted to make a new game. It was on their website. I think you don't declare something bold like that without.
Who owned Blue Point?
Sony, yeah.
And what is Blue Point good at?
Blue Point is good at remasters and remakes.
So Sony owning Blue Point, what should they have made them do?
Well, that's one thing I don't agree.
It's a management problem, Toby.
You can't say they should make them do something.
You can. Nintendo forces the developers to do things all the time, and that's why you all the time.
And that's where culture is different. You understand? If the guys at Blue Point wanted to do something else, they posted it boldly on their website for hiring.
Then they shouldn't.
They want to do something.
Then
else.
they shouldn't have accepted. If you're not willing to do what your boss tells you to do, then you need to not be acquired. Then be independent. Be independent. Get independent funding. But if you're Sony, if you purchase an asset, and I'm only saying asset as in the company, an asset, and they do things a certain way, if you're too stupid to where you don't understand what that person's strength is, it's like a football coach. You've got somebody who can't throw and then you put them at quarterback because they want to play quarterback. No, you can't throw. You need to play something else. And people say, why isn't he playing quarterback? Well, or why is he playing quarterback? He can't throw. Well, the coach put him there. Well, that's the coach's fault. That's not the kid's fault. That's the coach's fault because the coach is in power and is the management. And I've seen this a lot in America. I'm talking about American football, where coaches put people that are not good at positions, and then they wonder why they failed or they wonder why their team lost.
See, I get you. I get you. I totally get you. But you need to understand that when it comes to acquisitions like that, one of the reasons why Nintendo didn't acquire Rare or other people, for instance, or doesn't do a lot of acquisitions, is because the company, you're not just buying the engine of the company, you're buying the people. And the people there don't want to work on something. People can leave. The people can leave, and every day you are stuck with a company with a bunch of people that don't want to do what you want to do, or people that you bring in. So that's one of those things that you have to consider. So when you have those acquisition agreements, those are some of the things you discuss with the heads. Okay, you want to make remasters, but we also want to make something new, and we meet in the middle. We'll do a remaster, but we also want to work. So just one of those questions will happen, because if not, the heads can say, you know what, let's cash out and we'll go and work somewhere else, or we're gonna open another company.
Where
things that can
the
happen.
gaming industry, nobody's leaving. Nobody's leaving a nice Sony paid. The gaming industry is terrible right now. There are people
people left Rare. Don't forget when people left Rare.
Yeah, 20 years ago.
Microsoft bought Rare. People left
Rare.
Yeah,
that was 20 years ago when the gaming industry had far more stability when it came to certain jobs. In today's day, I know it ended up not being well because they were mismanaged by Microsoft. But when it comes to
mismanaged, people left.
People
people
left
leave,
because
that's what happens.
People left because Microsoft did not know what they were doing with Rare, and that's been proven.
Not really. Once again, every time there's an acquisition, people sometimes leave. Don't forget, the heads of studios, maybe the heads of studios that were managing the things very well, they get a huge payout and they go somewhere else or open another studio.
Yeah, it's
You
true,
know,
but we're talking about the
some of those
regular.
things happen.
We're talking about the regular developers right now. If Sony told Blue Point's developers, "You guys are going to make remakes," I don't think there's going to be a large amount of people leaving just because they want to make. They could have said, "Hey, look, you guys make a few remakes. If those remakes are successful, you guys can make a new game. This is a long-term partnership. You can't just mismanage them and say developers who don't make new games all of a sudden tell them to make a live service game. They've never made a live service game. They've never made that. You've got to get them primed up and ready to go within what you do at Sony. That is mismanagement. That is corporate greed.
Yeah, but once again,
it's corporate. Wait, hold on.
You can't put everything on Sony in that regard.
No, I can. It's corporate greed and it's mismanagement, plain and simple. Those two things. If I owned Blue Point, I would get them working on a big remaster or remake to fill the gaps for the PlayStation 5. I would not have them working on live service games. Sony themselves admitted that they made a mistake with live service. It was a mistake. It was a mistake in real time.
See,
everybody knew that this was a mistake.
That is why everybody that was doing the last service game is no longer there. We've covered that. That's not news. Once again, that's why Jim Ryan is not there. That's why
okay, so Blue Point should have been working on single player remakes, remasters. That is, once again, they got nuked. This has nothing to do with California or not. It has nothing to do with California or not. If they were in California, they would have got nuked. If they were in Wisconsin, they would have got nuked. If they were anywhere, they would have got nuked because they are not valuable anymore.
We are talking about a couple of studios, lots of other people.
Yeah, and I've mentioned,
once again, lots of other studios.
I've mentioned the High Guard studio. They were in California, and their game flopped.
Insomniac. People that their games did not flop, and they were also laid off. Insomniac.
Yeah, Insomniac had Insomniac has layoffs, and you know why Insomniac
Santa Monica had.
Yeah, you know why Santa Monica? You know why you know why all of these companies have that when it comes to that when it comes down to it? All of these companies had it when it comes down to it because once again, management, corporate. That is it.
Once again,
management and corporate.
I do agree with you. There's some corporate greed there.
Sony has the money to pay all those developers. Sony's executives, Jim Ryan was making $30-40 million per year. They have the money to pay those people. They don't want to.
You know what? I want to put a pin there when you say Jim Ryan is making $30-40 million a year. Jim Ryan's gross is $30-40 million a year. Yes. How much is he paying in taxes?
He lives in Europe. I don't know what he's paying in taxes.
Okay, then don't forget there are other people under him. There are senior vice presidents. How much are they earning?
They're earning a lot.
And there are other presidents, the studio heads, who are also executives. So Neil Druckmann, for instance, in the executive, how much is going to be earning?
And I'm also looking at Sony's spreadsheet, and Sony's the most. This is the most profitable Sony's ever been. Is in this era.
When we say most profitable, what are their margins?
Their margins they're the most they're more profitable, and they make more money now at this point than they made in the PS2 that they made in the PS3 era. They are. That's something that they make a lot on their PSN.
Yes,
they make a lot on their microtransactions.
They are more profitable now. But if you go back and check look at Sony's price history, look at Sony's, price, stock price. In fact, there's this quote by the former CEO of Nexon. I read one of his blogs the other day. Owen Mahoney. He said something that if you invested about $10,000 in the top 4, video game companies, you probably have gotten about, in return, everything will probably be about maybe 12,250 in 5 years. But if you put that same 10,000 in tech companies or Nasdaq or whatever, you're probably getting back almost 20,000 back. Video game companies are not as, would I say, money making or as not as highly profitable as people think they are. Many studios, probably maybe Tencent and they feel like Activision were highly profitable. Like Sony is profitable. There's a point in time that Activision and Sony were competing in terms of profits. That's how bad Sony was before, which should not even be considering the amount of billions they make. So yes, Sony can do more. It's not as if the Japanese heads are being paid ridiculous amount of money. One of the reasons why the US guys may be paid a whole lot because there's a lot of taxes in the US that were paid as well. which is another different thing that needs to be talked about. But a US compensation, cost of living, everything is different compared to Japan, so those things are different. So, but if you look at video game companies in overall in terms of pure business, they're not so profitable as you would think. One of the reasons why you may think is just video games have to lay off as often as they do for margin because funding is difficult as well. I don't know if you read through Matthew Ball's report recently. It had that chart on VC funding dried up. No, it's not as if investors or funds are flowing as it was in those days.
I see what you're saying, but once again, my issue with what you're saying is that you are giving an excuse for people who make mistake after mistake after mistake, overpay after overpay, greedy corporate. They would be far more profitable if Activision Blizzard would be far more profitable if Bobby Kotick wasn't making $150 million per year. They'd be far more profitable if they weren't making, if their executives.
That's in an imaginary scenario.
No, if their executives were making what Nintendo's executives were making, they would have far more money to not lay off people. Because remember, this is about layoffs too, right? We're talking about layoffs. Nintendo, even in their worst of time period with the Wii U, Mr. Iwata and Miyamoto, they all cut their pay by 50%.
You're right.
They all cut their pay and they saved everybody there.
Nintendo you're talking about also closed their offices in San Francisco.
They moved them. They moved their office.
They closed it. They moved it.
Well, yeah, they moved. But the same salaries that you made there, you can make, and they moved them to Washington. Washington's expensive as hell too. Washington's also expensive.
They closed here. They closed the one here in Toronto as well. They close those offices.
Yeah, Toronto's expensive.
Yeah, they also closed. They also let go about 100 contract workers as well last year.
That's contract workers. If you know that you're not going to be able to pay people for an extended period of time, you put them on a contracted work. So then after your contract is done, you're done. I used to do tech contracting, and that was what a lot of people did. They came in, they worked for 2 years, or they worked for 3 years, and then they move on because the company is not going to pay for you to be just employed for forever.
Do you feel that video game companies should, would they say, move to a contract model like maybe Hollywood and other entertainment people?
What I think is that executives shouldn't be paid $155 million per year. I don't think you should get compensated. And then also,
Bobby Kotick's salary was probably one of the highest.
And I don't think companies like Microsoft, who's had
US, I don't think so. I think Bobby Kotick is a different case entirely.
Okay,
he was pretty well paid. So let's leave
Satya Nadella or whatever Nadella, that guy from Microsoft, he's worth over $1 billion. He gets paid, and they had all sorts of layoffs. I think that maybe he shouldn't be paid that amount, and maybe it's just a little bit lower to save those people's jobs. This is greed more than anything.
The problem is, when people say that, the problem is how much. Satya's salary is probably less than, like not even up to a percentage of their whole wages overhead. Let's be real. Once again, if you look at Satya, if you count the SVPs under him, the VPs, the product managers, the managers, all the directors, these people are earning a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
So it's not so. Why should I be the one to reduce my salary if the other guys are not going to?
Because you're the one who messed it up. Because you're the one who messed it up. Because it's your fault. Because you call the shots. That's why. Yes. Okay. It's your fault. If your company can't make enough money to pay the people that you hire, wait, hold up. If your company can't make enough money to pay the people you hire, it is your fault. Yes, that is you. Because you're the one who hired them. You're the one who told them what to do, and you're the one who guided them. Yes, it's your fault.
You're telling him that yes, what you're saying is the CEO is making the large calls and gets to make the tough decisions, and that's why he's being paid the big bucks. But I said I'm not here to talk about, because I believe that in the corporate pay structure, there's a lot of, depending on how it is, a lot of, challenges that come with it. Because, for example, even if in the US, for instance, federal taxes, if someone was working in California, is paying maybe $20 million per year, 37% of that is already going to federal taxes immediately. Yeah. California comes and adds their own up to 30% in state taxes immediately. Yeah. Of course, people have sales tax and other things as well.
There's a lot of maneuvering with taxes that all the rich people do, but yes.
Yeah, but in just from the base pay, whatever they're going to pay him as compensation for the year, he's going to take half of that in taxes. that's also one of the reasons why CEOs, people don't even understand. One of the reasons why CEOs are hefty salaries, because the expectation is that you're the one calling the big shots, you're the one making the final decisions. It doesn't make sense if you're managing this much money and you're not getting as much money yourself. Nobody's gonna give you to manage billions and be paying you just a couple of millions. It's not gonna happen. You're gonna find a way to steal. It's just how it is. Most investors know that, and that's why they have to pay salary the CEOs big money if you're managing big money.
And I understand, but Toby, like I said,
those things are. I said the corporate world is unfair. Like everything has pros and cons. American system is you hire and you can fire whenever you want. Japan system is you hire but you can't fire when you want. So what people do, they don't hire often. So it's a balance that that is difficult to strike. Is that you want the American system of hire and fire, or you want Japanese system or some in Europe that you don't hire a lot?
What I want is a system of better management. Once again, people aren't perfect. These people, just because they make a lot of money, that doesn't mean they don't make a multitude of mistakes. These people have made anybody that have fired so many people from California, or so many people just in general. Epic Games, the reason why they fired something, which is not even California, they fired over 1,000 developers, is because of mismanagement. It can happen anywhere. You move all these people out of California, I guarantee you they'll get used to those profit margins. They'll get used to having a bit more, and then they'll move the goalposts. If you work in corporate, you know how
they
it
will
is.
Still once again they will still fire.
Dude,
they will still fire.
Will move the goalposts. You work in corporate.
It's another thing.
Do you work in corporate?
I worked in corporate. Yes,
okay.
I worked in corporate.
I also worked in corporate. So they would tell us, here's our goal. Hey OJ, our goal is 10% plus over what we got the time before. I'm like, okay, cool. Yes. I get 10%. I get 11%. Wow, we got 11%. Huh. Would have been better if we got 15. I'm like, can we not just celebrate for it? Doesn't matter. It is never ending. It is a never ending grind in corporate. No matter what you do, it's not good enough.
I worked in sales before, so I like as a salesperson, I kind of understand. You never want to be. They're going to just be comfortable.
Exactly. As soon as they move to North Carolina, they're like, oh wow, look at these taxes. They're way lower. They're just going to be like, oh well, we need more now. Like they're just going to expect more. It's never going to be enough for these people, and that's why it's corporate greed. It's never going to be.
I said, enough. I'm not gonna say there's no corporate greed. There is corporate greed, but you have to understand.
It is like 90% corporate greed, 10% California. That is my my balance.
I'm just saying you can't hand wave that this California doesn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the industry has chosen to like California as a place to put
5 to 10%. I'm giving you 5 to 10%. It's California. I'm lucky I'm even giving 5%.
I'm not really gonna. Like I said, I'm not really down to say it's not California. I have my opinion on the fact that I feel that the industry needs to move out of California in a way, because I just feel anything happens there, it affects a whole lot of the industry. And for example, now did you all know about moving GDC out of California? Why can't GDC move out of California?
Move them all out of California. Here's the thing. And we'll end on this just so I don't take up too much of your time. I want them to move out of California. So when all of these layoffs still happen, I can say, I told you so, and make a video on it and get 100 or 200,000, 300,000 plus views. I really hope it happens. I honestly want them to move out of California.
I don't doubt layoffs. Like I said, because the system because even here in Canada, the system is, hire and fire whenever you want. It's just the way North America has decided to do their labor structure, whatever. It's not a great way. I think, there should be more labor and more labor protection. But I do think, for me, I think the industry should spread out so many people can, because it's not really a thing like Hollywood where, you're just trying to do networking and everything. I think the industry can function anywhere. I think people should try to open studios in more different places. Yeah, Epic laid off 1,000. Unity also laid off 1,000 in California. Many people laid off people from studios that you were wondering, why did you do a layoff?
You in the Unity, that crusty ass engine, I can understand why they laid off 1,000. Dude, that crusty engine that barely works on the Switch One. I can understand why they laid off 1,000, bro.
Well, Unity is still widely used by a lot. Like I was at the program here in Toronto recently for students, a level up showcase.
Yeah,
and we had a lot of students, using Unity to make those games.
A lot of students.
Stuff.
Students.
Yeah, you say student, but many of those games are already on Steam, and people are already paying for those games. It's
Yeah,
that's how easy it
I don't
is.
know why I'm running the game on Unity. It's running at 3 frames per second on Switch One. That engine, bro. I don't know, man.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that for me, I think I agree with him on the fact that the industry needs to leave diversify from California, and partially, you know, if wage cost of living is going to increase in California and wage is going to keep increasing, it means anybody that's developing anything in California is gonna need to break even. Look, because the maths eventually will have to pan out. Spider-Man 2 cost about 300 million. Why is it costing 300 million? Because the wages in Insomniac is high. Crimson Deserts,
Yeah,
based on Korean
it would have cost
reports,
just as much in another place. The reason why Spider-Man's cost is high, it's not just because of the wages, it's also because of the license. The Spider-Man license is expensive, which we got the breakdown. The license was I think almost 100 million, or it was a significant portion.
They've paid based on the lead contract. They've paid certain amount for the license already. They have a guarantee fee. I think about the guarantee fee for each release is about maybe $2 million or something like that. Raise the guarantee fee, but Sony has to make sure they put a minimum 120 development cost. Instead of development cost, they have to spend minimum of $120 million. That's the minimum they must spend. And then Marvel has their, what they call it. Marvel has their guaranteed fee and what other things. So yes, one reason why I was not surprised Spider-Man came to PC because Marvel will collect royalties plus the guaranteed fees that they owe for each entry. And of course, we know that X-Men and Wolverine is coming down the line or whatever. So, but it's still 300 million. Why is it costing 300 million? For example, look at Crimson Desert. Crimson Desert has been rumored to cost like less than 150 million.
Yeah, they don't pay the developers as much there. The developers get
course,
paid. Yeah, that's in.
And they probably work devilish hours over there compared to.
Yeah, but once again, the thing about it is that a lot of these.
At the end of the day, yes, but don't forget, you are still selling at $70. The same game, same people, you're still selling at the same prices.
We have tons of developers in other.
Those things are a problem.
We have tons of developers in other countries. I mean, there's plenty of games that are from a variety of different places. What I'm saying is that a lot of the times when we see the layoffs, and like I said, I don't want to keep you here too much. A lot of times when we see the layoffs, the companies that have been the people that have been laid off, there's been a lot of problems with the games. There's been a ton of problems.
Once again,
we've had some with
Spider-Man. It's not every time that happens.
A lot of the time,
they've been very successful.
Out of the 40,000, most of them were not Insomniac. Most of them were not. It was a. That's why I'm saying there's no analysis on the 40,000. It's just California bad because.
Once again, you can check some websites to just see where.
Yeah,
I said it's not accurate, but you can see where some of the layoffs.
Yeah, you can see where it was, but a lot of it was High Guard too. There was also High Guard, which, from what I understand, and that game flopped. So yes, when you have that game would have flopped.
Again, I told you, if you look at the data, you see a lot of not only like some indie studios were there to these guys that make that made them this Dead Space.
Games that flopped. Games that
no, the one that made Callisto Protocol.
Callisto Protocol also flopped.
Yeah.
That game flopped, and it was discounted to. It didn't review well. That game flopped, and it was.
I won't say it flopped. It sold okay-ish.
No, it originally flopped, and the thing about it is that it started selling better when it got discounted. Once it gets discounted, you can't make as much money back on the game. So the game, they would have had problems no matter where they are. It would have had, and that's why I said, like, if Blue Point didn't get shut down, if there wasn't ample supply of developers and studios that have been completely nuked outside of California, you would have a much better point. But there's plenty. There's a lot.
You know the reason why I would disagree more is that once again I'll look at Japan. I'll look at a lot of small studios in Japan that
small
remain almost the same in terms of releases, and even when the releases don't do so well, they still can't keep the amount of staff they have on hand because wages are low. For example, Level 5, some of the Marvelous guys, so many other studios, the ones that make all these 2D games, like so many studios in Japan, their staff
and
it's almost the same thing for years. And some games flop, some games don't flop, and they don't lay off any people because they can afford to.
Wait, hold up, time out. I mean, we saw what happened with Visions of Mana. And how they got completely dissolved. We saw what happened with the new Like a Dragon game. they just stopped funding the game. The old guy that used to work at the Yakuza guy, he has his new game.
Yeah, but that's NetEase.
Yeah, but those are Japanese developers. Those are Japanese salaries.
NetEase stop funding, giving money out to everybody.
Oh,
not just Japan.
so it doesn't
So
matter where you are.
So
if they don't
different
feel like paying for it,
Well,
they
that's
won't. Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm glad that we agree.
Once again, that does not mean anything. Every
I'm
business has
glad
a different
that
strategy.
we agree.
You can understand why. You can understand that there's some US-China tension and just some tensions everywhere.
Like I
So
said,
you may not want to put a lot of a basket. NetEase, they're vested in everybody, not just in.
listen, man.
They
There's
divested.
always an
That's
excuse.
That's a different case entirely.
There's always a new excuse. There's always a new excuse.
Once again, it's not about excuse.
Always you've got low salary. Wait, hold up. You've got low salaries. People can still lose their jobs if the game doesn't do well. If a game is running too high on budgets, they're going to get rid of you. Look at what they did with Kojima. They just kicked Kojima out. He's spending too much money, even with the Japanese developers' salaries. Like, the problem...
Kojima was actually spending too much money.
Yeah, Kojima was spending too much money. I agree. He was spending too much money. But what I'm saying is it doesn't matter where the place is. If the game doesn't do well, if the game does not perform, if it doesn't perform up to what they're looking for, they're going to kick you to the curb. They're going to get rid of you.
You have to understand. You have to understand. There's a limit to what any business can take. Nintendo can take a couple of flops here and there. They have the cash to run that. Capcom can take a couple of flops here and there without layoffs. They had a couple of flops, late PS3, early PS4. Well, they handle that. Now they have got to the point where they are increasing their staff salary. Look at Konami. Konami is going to that same point as well. They had a couple of flops here and there. But now they haven't really laid off anybody since then. Same thing with these guys I made them Harry Warriors. What's their name? I keep forgetting. Koei Tecmo, yes. Yeah. Maintain the same level of staff for years now, and they have a couple of flops as well. So once again, I said,
Koei Tecmo hasn't had too many flops. I mean, they're pretty. The type of games that they make are not really big, expensive games. Like a lot of their games, they use the same engine, they reuse assets over and over and over and over, so their development cost is not high. So they don't have to sell a bunch of copies.
So why can't Western? You said it yourself. You just said it now. You have to sell a bunch of copies to break even. So a studio in California, it basically just has to sell far more than anywhere else just to break even. We
don't know that. That is just what people think. There's no data there's no data.
It's simple math. It's not about anything. You said it yourself. If a developer is earning 150K, you do the math. There's no just way you have to do it. The math cannot.
They are going to be paid if they live in Florida. They're going to be paid that 150K there too. Game developers get paid great in a lot of places across the U.S.
I do agree.
The cost of living, like we don't know.
If in one place, you're gonna point to that place regardless.
But the thing about it is that where is the data? What is the factual money data between having the game in Wisconsin and having the game in California, being paid 150K in California, being paid 150K in Wisconsin, and the amount of money that they save in the development atmosphere? Where is the data that shows that California is just way too much and they'd make way more in Wisconsin or in somewhere else? What is the amount? Where is the data for that outside of the data? Here's what I think.
If you're, I agree with you. There's no core data on. If you pay, you pay your staff here 150 in California, you pay them maybe 120 in somewhere else. There's no data on how much you save in long run. I said earlier, first of all, we don't have many studios outside of California. That's the first downside. We have many studios, but I think a lot of studios are in California based on the fact that California is where the talent is. California is where you have the schools, you have the people that actually know how to do the work. And unfortunately, it's a great place to live for most people. So good weather and everything. So you have that people there. But California is also expensive to live generally. So you can't hand wave and say, okay, nothing has to do. Yes, you can say maybe 10%, whatever percentage. It's part of it. It's the reason why if there's going to be any shock in the industry, California devs are going to feel it the most. Because you are a lot, one, and two is your wages are high. Either you like it or not, there's a hierarchy of what will be broken down and how you're gonna feel the pain.
Yeah, the wages are high for game developers everywhere. The people in Epic Games, they're also paid very well before they got let go. A lot of those guys were making 200, 300,000 per year. So a lot of those people were making more than even some in California. And they were living in North Carolina and they got let go. So like, what I'm trying
how many once again, because if you're living in California, even for the basic people, like those on the lowest level, entry level, you're going to be looking at, because those guys are going to be paying like maybe 8-9%, depending on your salary, maybe like 9% in taxes.
Sure, that goes to the government.
Share.
Yeah, that goes to the government. That's not a game development cost thing. That goes to the government.
You're going to have to add that in the calculation, because you're not going to pay someone that the government is going to take so much and it's going to affect their cost of living, their living standard or whatever. You're not going to do that. You're going to have to raise it up to factor that in. That's everything. That's what people don't forget. You're going to have to factor all those things in. For that, they're going to pay some certain level of sales taxes.
Yeah, all those things, but all that data, there is no data that supports what you're saying outside of what you think. It's just, there is no data that shows the difference and says, oh my gosh, we would save billions in everybody's job, or so many people's jobs would be saved if we were in Wisconsin. And that was my whole argument from the beginning. That there was no data. There was no
if we have love,
it's just your opinion. That's what I said. It's California. It literally comes down to California bad. There is nothing outside of, because you don't have the data. You admitted it yourself that you do not have the data and you don't know the difference. So it's literally California bad because I think the cost is too high. That's really what it comes down to.
I'm just gonna look at the major studios in California and compare it to other studios elsewhere. What are the cost of development and hearing for certain games? And I consistently hear that the ones in California are the ones that have the very high cost. So I'm not gonna.
The cost is just as high. A AAA game to make, the cost is just as high if you make a game in Florida.
Ubisoft does not spend up to
Ubisoft
that amount.
spends. They made quadruple A games. Ubisoft spends tons of money on Assassin's Creed. They have thousands.
Aside from Assassin's Creed, Ubisoft makes a lot of games.
Ubisoft spends top dollar on their biggest games because they have teams all throughout Europe, and they have teams all throughout. And Ubisoft's games, like Assassin's Creed Shadows, is one of their most expensive games ever. It's just as expensive.
How much?
Let me double check. Assassin's Creed. I'm gonna double check right now. Let me show you. Assassin's Creed Shadows dev cost. Assassin's Creed Shadows right now is pulling up that it costs over 116 million to make that game.
That is. Do you hear what you just said?
Yeah, I heard.
Compared to a Spider-Man that cost.
Yeah, Spider-Man. That's one game. Most games don't cost as much as Spider-Man. You're using one game. How
much Last of Us Part 2 cost?
I don't know how much The Last of Us Part 2 cost. I think that was around 100 million, 200 million for that game too.
I'm not sure. That was around 200 million.
How much?
200 million, thereabouts, if my memory serves me correctly.
Yeah, okay, and a lot of the development budget for a lot of these games is also spent on marketing and also spent on other things as well. So
you can't hand wave that and say it's just marketing. Once again, if you look at the cost of what we know,
I'm not hand waving anything. You're telling me that Ubisoft. You're telling me that Ubisoft isn't spending as much, and you bring up two Sony massive games as if 116 million isn't a lot of money for a AAA game. It is. That's a lot of money.
Compare AAA games to AAA game. If you Crimson Develop, probably not cost 200 million.
You name two.
So you can't. So if you look at it, if you look at the development cost of all the games we're talking about, if you look at them, you search them up, you look at it. I'm not saying California is the cost difference is not going to be something major. It's not like we're going to be saving 100 million or 50 million every time if you go to California. But whether you like it or not, any game made in Naughty Dog, Insomniac, Respawn, Riot, anything made in California, any EA game, any indie game, whatever you are, if you're in California, you're going to be paying good wages. Your game is going to generally cost more.
And once again,
like if someone made similar equivalent game outside,
the salary is, you do not have any data that shows that the salary is significantly less. It's just your opinion on what you think about what you pay. There is no data, dude.
I might not have
data. No, we gotta break this down.
Inside US.
I need data that here's what I need from
California.
What I need from you is that I need data that shows that if you develop a game in Wisconsin or if you develop a game in there, I need how much you're going to save compared to California. That's what I need from you.
I can't say.
Okay, well then if you can't
I can't
say
anything
that
for
it's
inside US
California
right
bad
now.
and I was right.
Inside US right now, you understand? I can't say anything inside US right now. But if I can actually do that, set up that thing and find.
If you don't have data, then I'm going to sit there and say that your opinion is incorrect. I'm sorry, your opinion is you need data to back up what you're saying outside of just your opinion. I need data that shows that, man, these developers would save so much more money if they were in Idaho or if they're in whatever other place. They would save. So I need data, and if you don't have it, it literally comes out to, I think California bad high. I can't tell you how much, I can't tell you the difference, but I can tell you what I think. And that's really what it comes down to right now. There is no data. There is no data.
There is no data. Hold on. Please hold on.
You going to research it now? You're supposed to do that before.
I'm going to check on something.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a lot of things to do.
Okay, I understand. You're a busy guy. It's okay.
Let me see. Where is the next concentration of video game? Maybe Austin? I don't know.
Also, my chat's also saying, you can keep doing that, but my chat's also saying that, somebody that lives in Wisconsin, which is obviously not as expensive. He says the developers that are, they average the same salaries as California. So it's going to be the same cost. It's going to be the same cost.
Okay, so I'm looking at, say, for example, developer, say Austin, Texas, for instance.
Okay.
It's going to be doing 125 to 145 US dollars per year.
Okay.
Or we look at the median salary of around, give or take, what was it? Let me look at, what am I saying here? Okay. So around 120 to 150, thereabout. California, are looking at 130 to 160.
It's right around the same. Pay.
Once again, as I said, it's not gonna be thousands, but you say it's just around the same. But the extra 20,000 times 50 people times a whole year times 5 years.
Okay.
Once you do the math, you understand that is the difference between.
I've done the math, and we don't have the data. But I would say thank you so much, Toby. I appreciate you coming out to the stream, man. It's always good to have difference of opinion. So I appreciate you coming out, man. Seriously. Is there anywhere people can find you?
Yeah, you can just reach out to me on Twitter.
Okay.
If you have anything to talk about, just reach out to me on Twitter.
Absolutely. I'll link your Twitter account on there. Thank you.
Yeah, so I didn't carry to me one, so that's just it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming out to the stream tonight, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, great.
All right, take it easy, brother.
You too.
All right. Okay, so what do you guys think? This definitely seemed like to me, like I said, I don't want to bash him, and I see where he's coming from. Like I see what some of you saying, but once again, I think that the general point of it, and I'm sorry, it went a little bit long for the debate, but I said no less than I said about an hour or less, and that's what it was. We went for about an hour. I think it was a pretty solid. It was a pretty solid win in my category, because it was just simply him saying, here's what I think. I don't know exactly, but I'm just going to tell you, the cost of living is, I'm like, the salaries are the same. He even looked it up himself. The salaries are the same pretty much across the board. So that's the thing, man. That's the thing. So it's just one of those things to where, it is what it is. Let me link his Twitter account too as well, and also let me get some donos that were put out throughout the stream. Says, man, what the that's why listen, I don't think Legendary Jobson want to come debate me on that one. I think I'd cook him too. He's way bigger streamer as well, so I don't think. But if Legendary Drops is watching, I'll invite him on. I want him to come here. Maybe he'll be able to talk about these things too, because he is a pretty prolific talker on his YouTube channel. So maybe we can get him on. He's a bit of a bigger name, but I highly doubt he would come on to talk this topic with me. But you never know. I'll reach out. I'll see if he will. Yeah, ultimately it turned out to California bad. That's really what it comes down to. 125. So yeah, he wasn't, it's all around the same when it comes to the California average dev salary and all that. It's gonna be based on the results. And it's gonna be based off of corporate greed. It's gonna be based off of mismanagement. That's really what's happening right now. Let me read off what George said too as well. George FT with the $10 dono and says, I think blaming California for layoffs is missing the forest from the trees. Plus, not every cheap state has infrastructure or desired personnel for game development. Yeah, there's a lot to it. Shocks with the 5 says, yeah, man, I know, it's there. It is what it is there. I agree with him that, yeah, people who can't actually bring out statistics and facts and just go off of what you think, you're not going to be objective. You just think, well, I think this. Yes, that I can understand why you'd agree with him. Absolutely. And there are many, many people who don't like facts, and they like opinions, and they like thought processes, and they like pie in the sky. That's what a lot of people like. I am more fact-based. I am more information-based. So I like going off of information and facts and then forming my opinion from there. Not, well, I think this, and therefore, since I think this, that means this is correct, and that means I'm right. So I can understand. I get it. There are people, like I said, that also agree with that think, oh, well, high cost, so therefore not good. But they weren't able to actually prove it with facts and data.
The evidence he brought was mostly just Sony had layoffs in CA. So it must be CA's fault.
Pretty much.
Oh, and Blue Point is different. It was the people there, lol.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was such a weird, and that's what was so funny. It was so weird. It's like, well, what happened to Blue Point? Oh, well, they didn't want to do it, and they could have let. I'm like, dude, nobody's leaving Blue Point if Sony forces them to do what they've been doing, which is making. And you're a complete moron in this economy. If Sony acquired you, especially during COVID, because I think it was a little bit after COVID. If you get acquired by a company and you have security and you say, well, dude, they're going to make me make remakes? I'm leaving. You're a freaking moron and you deserve to not be paid. Like, you're a moron. You're a moron and you deserve to not be paid. Your employer tells you what to do. This is why I say it's mismanagement. It is not taxes. It's not salary. It is mismanagement. One, if you can't afford to pay people, then don't pay them. Don't hire them. If you have to, stop hiring so many if you can't afford to do it. If your games require that many, you need to tone down what your game is going to do, or you need to focus on the gameplay and not worry about the graphics if your game is doing whatever. So that's the first thing. The second thing when it comes down to this situation is that it doesn't matter where you're at. It doesn't matter where you're at. The management needs to tell you and needs to steer you on the right path. I use that quarterback analogy because the quarterback analogy was great. Blue Point is good at remakes and remasters. I don't give a damn if what you want to do is make a real game or make a normal game or make a live service game. Who are you? I purchased you as an asset. You're going to do what I tell you to do. And if you don't, then there is going to be severe consequences. My kid says, I want to eat a bucket of ice cream. I am not going to allow them to eat a bucket of ice cream because they have a mouth and a stomach and taste buds, because they want to eat a bucket of ice cream. I'm not my child's owner, but I am the parent, and I am the one that needs to look out what's best for my child, because they are a child and I am responsible for them. The companies need to look at them like, what is the best for them and what they do? What's the best for them and what they do is this, not doing what they want to do, because you have not done it at an efficient level yet within our company. That is mismanagement. Blue Point got cooked because Sony mismanaged them. There is no other ifs, ands, or buts about it. They were mismanaged. It doesn't matter if they're in California, Yugoslavia, which it doesn't exist anymore, USSR, back in the day with Zangief doing PAL drivers. It does not matter. Mismanagement, overhiring, misappropriation of funds, greedy CEOs, greedy management can doom a company, can doom a development studio more than California could ever do. And that's essentially, that is the rule. That is it. Because there was a new excuse for every company that I listed outside of California. Here's this excuse. Here's that excuse. Here's this excuse. Here's this excuse. Here's that excuse. There's this excuse. Excuse after excuse, instead of just blaming. And yes, he did say, okay, yeah, it's the management too, but it was defending corporations, it was defending CEOs, it was defending their salaries. It was just, it was not good. I don't feel that was a good defense of the situation or the topic. I don't feel it at all. There's we even went to Japan. Japan, much lower salaries. What happened to Visions of Mana Studio? They got dissolved and said, yeah, man, we're done. Oh well, that's different. What about the Like a Dragon studio? They got their funding cut. Oh well, that's different. Like, there's always a new excuse for something. Like, when it comes to these games and stuff, man. So I don't know, man. I don't know. There's always a new excuse. But like I said, I'm pretty confident. That's why I said I felt like I'm pretty confident in this I'm pretty confident in this discussion about California and game development and things like that, and I felt that I proved it tonight. So, if you think about recruit good talent, thank you for the 5 too on Cario. I appreciate that, man. Let's go, big love. Thank you for the 5. But yeah, Blueprint's different. They got cooked for a whole different reason. But all the studios in California, those Sony few studios, they had some layoffs. There was 40,000 layoffs. A lot of that was high guard and a lot of that was nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of that was nonsense. Or games that flopped. Yeah, there's a lot of studios. A lot of studios that have stuff that flops. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. Layoffs are going to happen. So if you recruit good talent in the middle of nowhere, like I know it's hard for sure to make you pay a little bit more operating costs, paychecks in CA, but it's not the main reason. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's not the main reason. Let's see. Yeah, it's not fun to debate how we pay employees less money for doing more work. Can't scapegoat employees for bad corporate decisions and lack of innovation. That's what I'm saying. It's like we move development out, then so what? Now everybody just gets paid low, like for doing, and the companies just get higher profit margins, because that's really what it comes down to. Because if you move the development out from America, you move it to Europe and all that, who makes all the money? Because you're still charging the $70. You're still charging the AAA price, like Crimson Desert. Still, so it just goes to the shareholders. It just goes to the executives. It doesn't go to the employees. It just goes to the other people. Now, of course, if they have stock in the company, then it's a little bit different, but not all employees have stock within the company. So really, you're just paying the shareholders and the CEOs. They're the ones who are making all the money off of that. Now, you get gainful employment and you stay employed, but that's not a solution. Oh, well, just pay them less, move them out and pay them less, so CEOs and corporations can make more, but at least they have a job. How's that supposed to? That's not the dream. The dream is to be able to be paid appropriately for your work. That is the dream. The dream is you're supposed to be able to pay appropriately for what you do. People that make mistakes, people that do these things with these companies and mismanage and overhire and overspend and make mistakes, they should be held accountable. They're the ones that should be held accountable. There's money to keep a lot of these people on. There definitely is. I don't know. I'm not one to defend CEOs making $155 million per year. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's see here. Let's see. He kept going in circles. He clearly ignored all the facts you shared. I mean, well, it was just like he didn't ignore it completely. He just said, "Oh, well, that's the exception," or "Oh, that's this," and it's just like I said, I felt confident about the debate on this. I would love for Legendary Drops to come through, and debate this. I would love for him to do that. So that would be great. If he what is his name? Legendary Drops. I think it's Legendary Drops, right? Let me double check just to make sure. I think it's Legendary Drops. Yeah, Legendary Drops. Yeah, like I would love for him to come through. I think that would be fun to discuss it and all of that, man. So I don't know, man. Why do people hate Cali so much? Politics, really. That's really it, man. Politics. It's politics stuff. Like, so I don't want to get into that too much. I mean, I can tell you why, but like I don't really feel like talking about it too much. But really, just know that it's politics. The reason why. It's not based off of, anything else outside of really just that. If California's politics were different and was a different type of way, people wouldn't hate it as much. They'd probably like it a lot more, but it's because of politics. Uncario with the $5 dono.
One thing about indies, California has a lot of software engineering and gaming talent. 5 buddies can start a little indie easily because there's a lot of good SW engineering and gaming talent around them.
Mm-hmm.
Hades, Shovel Knight,
Mm-hmm.
etc. all based in California.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Once again, it's interesting to me, man. It's interesting to me. Let's see here. This is funny how CA was not the problem before tariff and RAM shortages. I mean, it really wasn't. But I mean, nah. If it's politics, don't bring it up. Sorry about that. No, it's okay, party man. It's okay. Yeah, I'm not going to bring up all that because I'm not a political source for things. But I mean, that's really what it comes down to once again, because like, nowhere's perfect. There's a lot of places that are not perfect, and I'm not saying California is perfect. I'm not saying that California doesn't have its own issues, but every single state in the United States has issues. But the thing is that California is massive. It is a massive entity. It is once again, there's a lot of different types of people here. There's a lot of different types of opinions here that don't fit with other people's opinions. And then there's also a lot of influence and power here. That's the biggest thing. There's a lot of influence and power. And because you have tech, because you have, a lot of people, because that factors into politics, because the amount of people that live here, and a lot of people that work here, and the businesses that are here, on top of like the economics. I think California is the 4th largest economy in the world. So the fact that there's just so much, like, you kind of like, everything is like, a lot of things are routed through here. California also subsidizes states that don't have any money. And yes, California has a big deficit, but the US has a deficit as well. Like, we're all broke. California also subsidizes it with their taxes. So you also have some resentment with it as well. So there's just, like I said, there's a lot of a variety of factors, a variety of factors. Says, yeah, I feel like underlying issues, CEOs not wanting to pay California tax rates, CEOs not wanting to pay. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's definitely, but once again, there's a lot of companies that are here in California, and some of them leave, some of them stay, some of them do whatever. But once again, your quality of life also factors into how you want to work. Like, nobody wants to live in a place where they don't want to live and they don't have access to what they need, right? So like, a lot of rich people, a lot of NBA players, a lot of NFL players, even if they hate here, or like living here, they like it. They don't mind moving. Even with some of the taxes, they don't mind moving and playing for the Lakers, or playing for the 49ers, or playing for the Rams. They don't mind it. Like, listen, there was multiple guys that moved from Kansas City to the Rams. And yeah, theoretically, they're going to take more, but who you get in with when you move to California or you do business in California can make you money, super generational wealth, right? So LeBron, when he wanted to, move from the Heat, I think he went back to Cleveland. Then when he wanted to move from Cleveland, he chose the Lakers because he knew he can make way more. And LeBron, since he went to LA, he's become a billionaire because he got in with so many people of influence, because you live next to them, because you're in the same neighborhood as them, because you can, and yeah, you're going to pay more, but you're also potentially can make significantly more than living in Cleveland, Ohio. You know what I'm saying? Nothing wrong with Cleveland, Ohio, but you're just not going to make as much living in Cleveland than you are living in Los Angeles, especially if you're as a Laker, you're just going to be more high profile. You're going to be more marketable. So it's the same thing with gaming and tech too. Like, you're going to be around people that are just way more influential than if you had a game development studio in Ohio, or if you have a game development studio in I don't know, no shots to Prime, but Milwaukee or something like that, or in wherever, right? It's going to be completely different. So that's also another factor that you have to kind of put in there. A lot of these guys like to do business here, so it is what it is. Like I said, and what attracts people here? Y'all know what attracts people here: history, money, weather. Let me tell y'all, since I live in California, the cost of living is based off of history and weather. The highest cost of living is the best weather. The lowest cost of living is the worst weather. Central California, where I live, lowest cost of living because the weather is terrible. It's really hot. It's too hot. San Diego, San Francisco, upper northern, coastal, cost of living astronomical, very, very, very high, because you are in prime. Marina Del Rey, certain beach, Atascadero, like I said, San Diego, anywhere with beach fronts, forget about it. It is incredibly high because people desire to live in good weather. A lot of people don't want to live in blistering cold, you know, and do game development freezing to death. A lot of people want to be in warm or tropical areas. A lot of people want to have access to certain attractions and places to go. It just is what it is. Like, game development isn't just about profit, business, corporation. It's also about how you operate, you know, how you live. Me personally, I don't like cold. I could probably go live somewhere else and have higher profit margins myself for my stream. I can work anywhere. But I don't want to live in a place that's really, it's going to affect my personal well-being, my personal happiness. I don't want to live in cold weather, even though there's probably places that are cheaper than where I live now. I don't want to live in cold weather. I want to be happy. I want to go to work happy, you know? I don't want to go to work freezing my butt off. Plain and simple. So I'm not moving. Like, I'm not moving to somewhere cold because it's cheaper or because I can make a bit more off of it. No, it's cold. I don't want to live there. Like, I want to be happy. I get one life. I want to enjoy it. I'll take a little bit less so I can live, so I can be happier. Plain and simple. San Luis Obispo's awesome. Pismo, awesome. All these places, awesome. Wish I could afford to live there. I can't. I will one of these days, though. I will buy a small apartment in one of the... San Diego is where I'm gonna... Or like a small townhome one of these days. I will save, and I will absolutely live. In the next 10 to 15 years. I'm giving myself 10 to 15 years. I will buy a small townhome in San Diego in 10 to 15 years. I will. I just got to figure out how to do it first. But I'm actively trying, and I will. I eventually will. And I will stream in summers. I will stream from San Diego, and then in spring and winters and fall, I'll stream from Central. But summers, I'm taking off. I'm packing up, taking off, and spending the whole summer in San Diego. 10 years from now. Let's see here. Otani is the richest contract in the Dodgers, yet can easily make much more thanks to LA and how significant is the Asian community. Oh yeah. Baseball in Los Angeles, Dodgerville, bro. The money you make from just networking is insane in Los Angeles. I mean, even when you go to LA, like when you go to downtown LA, you just know it's popping. Like, if you're someone that has influence, the city is alive, man. Like, where I live, bro, it is not. And a lot of places around, it's just not. But LA, bro, it's like, it's not for everybody. Like, I personally would not want to live in LA. I don't want to live in LA. San Diego reminds me of here, but way more laid back. San Diego is so chill. You don't see people crammed and packed into really small places. It's pretty spread out. It's more chill. It's just very expensive because of the weather. But San Diego is 10 times more chill. But Los Angeles is hustle and bustle. Like, the city is crazy. The traffic is there. The skyscrapers, the buildings, you see all the different, you see Otani big posters, you see LeBron, you know, on big skyscrapers. You just see all the athletes, and you see all the affluence and the fakers and the scammers and the everything. Los Angeles downtown is just, it's nuts, man. It is wild. But Los Angeles County's big, though. It's a really big, but downtown Los Angeles, like the real Los Angeles, is wild, man. I don't want to live there. I'll visit, but I don't want to live there. You know, I don't want to live there. I just want to visit. I'd rather live in San Diego. I'd rather live in, like, somewhere more chill, like Atascadero or, like, Pismo or San Luis Obispo. Like, I'd rather live in one of those places any day than, like, Los Angeles. Not that there's anything wrong with Los Angeles. I mean, it's fine. I know my man Paul Gale, he lives in Los Angeles. He lives in LA County, and it's great for him. He has a very nice house, and he's doing very well there. But, yeah, it's just not for me, you know? So San Diego is awesome. Lived there for about 6 months as a student back in the day. Oh yeah, it's so good, man. It's so good. I tried, man. Back in more than a decade and a half ago, I was looking, after I graduated, I was looking for a job. And I had an interview at a recruiting company in San Diego, and I was like, okay, this is my chance. And that's back when it was somewhat affordable in the early 2010s to live there. Like, you could get an apartment for, like, you know, maybe about $1,700 per month. So I'm looking at how much how much I'm gonna get paid from this company. I'm like, hey, I'll have couple hundred a month. I'll be able to take care of, my family and do what I need to do. I can just get an apartment. I can get a nice little, two-bedroom apartment here, and I'll be fine. And then I can move my way up the corporate ladder, right? And right before my interview, they called me and canceled the interview. And I'm like, what is going on here? They never called me. I had no idea. I think somebody snitched or something. I don't know. And I never got another shot to work in San Diego. I never got another shot to work there again. So that was very unfortunate. And then of course now the price is crazy. But I mean, I wanted to get in. I wanted to get in 2011 or 2010 or 2011 or whatever. I wanted to get in back then, man, and I didn't. And it didn't happen. I think it was 2012. Was it 2012 or 2013? 2011 or 2012? One of those two. I forgot exactly when. But yeah, it sucked, man. Because I thought I was gonna get the job. I thought I was gonna get the job, man. And like I said, I would have had a little bit extra each month, so it would have been. I would have been able to pay for the place and in an okay neighborhood, not the best neighborhood, not the worst neighborhood, okay neighborhood, and I would have been able 2-bedroom apartment. It was small, but it was doable for me and my little family that I had at the time. It was definitely doable, and it would have been not very far from work. It would have been 5 minutes from work, so I can ride my bike, or I can take my car. I can drive, or I can ride the bike. Or I can even walk. It wasn't, it would have been like more like a 20 minute walk. So I probably wouldn't have walked, but could have taken my bike, or I could have just drove my car. So yeah, that was one of the things, but everything happens for a reason. I think that if I would have got that job, I probably would have not continued doing PlayerEssence. I probably would have quit. All things considered, considering like, it's, San Diego, you gotta really hustle and bustle in San Diego, So anyway, that was the debate. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We still have more time left on the stream though. When it comes to it, we still got about 30 minutes. Shout out to everybody that's supporting the stream so far. 73 on the combo board. Yo, combo breaks. I appreciate that. If you guys have questions, comments, whatever else that you want to talk about, feel free to tag me in the chat. I'll be more than happy to answer them. And let me get to actually let me see. Let me play the music again. All right. Somebody talk about mouse PI for higher specs. Did anybody actually have the specs? Early punch out prototype surfaces online. Ooh, nice. I want to check that out later. Yeah, there's just not, like right now we're just in a glut of gaming news. There's not really too much when it comes to gaming stuff, but yeah. We got a new trailer for Castlevania Belmont's Curse. A gameplay trailer. Well, I'll cover that tomorrow. I'll cover that tomorrow on tomorrow's video. Do the Naruto run to work? Yes, that's the thing. I understand needing a big local fan base for a sports team, but a game studio has a global market. I think the studios could do well in smaller states, but cutting employee salary is not the solution. Yeah, okay. So once again, Wendigo Joe, like, what's the difference? Like, because you keep the same salary, right? So if you go to a smaller place, okay, cool. You go to a smaller place, that's fine. What's the difference in money? From a corporation, what's the difference of money saved? Nobody really knows. It's, once again, California, expensive. What is the amount of money saved? I don't know how much it is. I don't think it's that much more significant. Once again, what a talent do you attract? You can't force people to live places that they don't want to live. You can't. You can't force people to do that. So, sure, you're saying other people should go to places and work there. What you think? Oh, they should do it because because the profit margins are better for corporations. That's essentially what's going down here. Is that it's better for the CEOs, and it's better because is that money going to go back into the developers' pockets? So if you take a developer and you move them out of California, you move them to a cheaper place, do they get paid more? Since now it's clearly cheaper, are they going to get paid more, or is it just their salaries, and now you know they're not going to go out of business. Is that the difference between going out of business or not? What's the price difference? We don't know. The salaries are the same across the board. Prime showed up and talked about that. They're about the same, about 100 something K for a good developer at a AAA studio. So we don't even know. We don't even know what it is. So everyone's just saying, well, it would be, but nobody has any hard numbers or anything to say how much it would. It's just, well, I think because California high, everything's high there. So what's the amount? I need data. I don't need hopes and opinions. And I agree that there's definitely high costs here. I agree. I'm not disagreeing. Sure, you could probably make a bit more on profit margin. Sure. But how much more? What is the difference? Is that the difference between the studio surviving and dying? I highly doubt it. Is that the difference between what's the difference in layoffs? So if a company is not doing well and they have layoffs, so is it what? Is it instead of 100 layoffs, it's 75 layoffs? It's 85 layoffs? What's the difference? Doesn't seem like there's any difference from Epic. Epic had over 1,000. Microsoft, they had a ton too. You know? So I get what you're saying. Like, I get that. Like, I 100% get what you're saying. And sure, they should do it. That's why I told Toby, I was like, yo, move everybody out from California. And when people still lose their job and when there's still tons of layoffs, the new excuse will be formed. There will be a new excuse, just like Bluepoint, just like Firewalk, just like Sony Japan, just like the Visions of Mana developers, just like Epic Games, just like countless other developers outside of California. There will be a new excuse to why it did not work. So that's my opinion, until proven otherwise. Mouse PI for higher handheld performance is 900p at 60 FPS quality mode, 1260p at 30 FPS, switch to dock performance mode, 1080p 60 quality mode, 1440p at 40 frames per second. That's good, but I mean that should be like a 4. So that'd be like a 4K. You know, they're a smaller studio. Okay, that's not bad performance. I think I got a review code for that game coming in, so I'll probably check out that Mouse PI for higher thing. San Diego, I have too much family and bad history because of one man, my dookie lion mouth father. Weather is nice but small. When people know too much internet work for me. Oh yeah, I feel you on that one. You know, I feel you on that one. Thanks for that drop, Dior. I appreciate looking that up, man. I appreciate looking that up. That's not bad. You got different quality modes. You got a 40 FPS mode, 1440. I mean, although I think a mouse PI for higher, that should probably be 1440p at 60 frames per second, you know, but you know, whatever. I think they did the best that they could, all things considered. They don't have the biggest team out there, so so it is what it is. Says TechWorks want to live near amenities, Starbucks, vegan shops, etc. I don't. Starbucks is everywhere, but yeah, the Starbucks could definitely hit when it hits, you know. I haven't had Starbucks in a hot minute though. I might get some tomorrow now that you bring it up. I might go get some Starbucks for myself. You know. I hope there's going to be some remastered mini games for GBA, DS, Wii, and 3DS and Rhythm Heaven Groove. We'll see what happens with Rhythm Heaven Groove and if they remaster some of the older games or not. Hopefully there's a lot of content in there. So hopefully there's a lot. Hopefully there is a lot, man. Hopefully there's a lot there, man. I know there was an interesting post too that Genki put up on Twitter where he said Final Fantasy VII Remake released 6 years ago today, one of the best games from the PS4 era and set the new standard for remakes. I'll say this. Final Fantasy VII Remake did not set the new standard for remakes. That is not a standard that needs to be replicated by anybody. Let me tell you this right now. Do not listen to what Genki said. Developers, that is not a standard. Taking your RPG from the PS1 era, splitting it into 3 games over the course of multiple generations, over the course of 6 to 8 years, or 6 to 7 years, that is not what you should do. No, I highly disagree that should be a standard or the new standard. Absolutely not. No. Don't get me wrong. I like the game. I think it's good. But it is not the new standard for what you should be doing. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. When you remake a game, it should be faithful to the original release, added information, added new quests, added new content, added graphics, but they should not take it and split it and start doing weird. That is not the new standard. I'm sorry. I don't know where Genki's coming with that one, but no, absolutely not. That is not the new standard. That is not the standard that I would like to see when it comes to games. He says Genki's good. No, I like Genki. I think he has a lot of good ideas and good, and he's a good reporter when it comes to stuff. And I don't mind people leaning more towards, Sony or leaning more towards Xbox. I follow so many people. Because like I said, at the end of the day, we're all gamers, so it's fine. But no, we can't. That is not the standard. The standard to me, when it comes to like an incredible remake, is like Resident Evil. Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil, the Resident Evil, the original Resident Evil on the GameCube. That is the standard for a remake. You play the game and it's the same game, but it's not the same game, but it's the same game. Like when you know that, oh, that happened in the original, that happened, but oh, it's kind of like this, and they rearranged that and they've added this, so it feels very new and very fresh, but it's the same game. They don't completely alter and butcher it and spread it across 15 games or whatever. Resident Evil is still, the GameCube release is still the standard, to me at least, when it comes to a remake. That is the standard. Resident Evil games, those are the best remakes in my opinion. Give me 1 second here, guys. Give me 1 second. So we're gonna wrap it up here, guys, in just a bit. I'm gonna give us a bit about like maybe, let's do about 2 or 3 more minutes. I'll answer some more questions and then we'll just wrap it up. I'll also say, guys, check out my most recent video if you haven't seen it. We've actually had a few bangers this past week or so. So if you haven't seen my most recent videos, check them out on the YouTube. So let me go ahead and let me link it. So make sure you guys put it in your watch later if you haven't seen it. I think YouTube just didn't get this video out when it comes to some of the views and all that, and that's okay. Hopefully it does a bit better, but if it doesn't, that's okay. Check it out. There's the video. I'll answer some more questions for, like I said, a minute or two, and then we'll kind of go from there. I wonder who will be in the Rhythm Heaven commercial. Ivy Blues. Oh yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they do something like that. Yeah. To me, RE4 is the new standard. Yeah, RE4, RE2, maybe not RE3 remake, but I would say the original Resident Evil, Resident Evil 2, and Resident Evil 4. Those are the standards, which they all do the same thing. The original Resident Evil remake, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 4, they're all in the same vein of, it's the same game, but they added things so it feels different. They adjusted controls, they adjusted things to where it plays somewhat different. They've added quality of life features and things like that, but they didn't butcher the original story and completely change what had happened in the whole thing and spread it out across like Resident Evil Remake, Resident Evil 4 Remake Part 1, Resident Evil 4 Remake Part 2, Resident Evil 4 Remake Part 3. Like, they didn't do all that. And even like Square Enix themselves, I think Romancing Saga 2, Revenge of the Seven, that's a better remake than Final Fantasy. That's a better remake. Not saying it's a better game, but that's a better remake than Final Fantasy 7 Remake. Like, that's a better remake in my opinion. It has all the content. It's a 100+ hour RPG. They improved the graphics greatly. It's really good, especially on Switch 2. You play that portable. That might be my next game that I'm gonna play. That might be my next one after that I'm gonna play more. I started it, but I need to do more. I think he said that because people are losing interest in turn-based JRPGs. Final Fantasy Rebirth didn't sell more than Dragon Quest, so I don't know what you're talking about. How are people losing interest in turn-based RPGs? Pokemon sells more than all of these games and a lot of them combined. Expedition 33 sold more than a lot of action RPGs out there. How are people losing interest in turn-based RPGs? How does that make sense? Happy Mouse PI did a full game on cart, but better performance and $10 cheaper physical on PS5 is tempting me. Mouse PI seems like a game that the better performance isn't gonna matter. It's gonna run at 60 FPS on Switch 2, and you're gonna be able to play it anywhere that you want. I mean, do you need to see a cartoon that doesn't have highly detailed graphics? I mean, I don't. That seems like a game that you just play portable too. I don't know. That's just me. I don't think Mouse PI needs a 4K PS5. You know, I don't know how much better that's gonna be for when it comes to performance or when it comes to what you get from there. It's like a Cuphead shooter looking thing. So I don't know, but hey, if that's fine, if you want to get it on PS5, you can get it on there. But I mean, that's a game that I probably just like kind of like mess around and play portable, not really put on the TV. But like I said, get it anywhere that you want, and it's cheaper on PS5. Let's see here. Shout outs to Melissa. Thank you for the subscription. I appreciate that. Yo, welcome to the Elite Ninja Village. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you, thank you. All right, so. Let's see here. It should have been a one and done remake. Oh, where did the other two parts come from? I know it really should have been. But thank you guys so much, man. I appreciate that. Thank you guys for the support. Plus, yeah, it's in black and white. Does it have real HDR if it's in black and white? I mean, yeah, sure it does, of course. But thank you guys so much for coming out to the stream. Thank you guys for coming out to the channel today. Like I said, check out my most recent video. I do appreciate it. Let's see here. I think I'm gonna get a review copy, but I'll probably buy a physical version later. But thank you guys so much for coming out to the stream. Thank you guys for being awesome. I love you guys so much. You guys are the goats. Check out my most recent video. If you have not seen my most recent video, check it out. Check it out. It's right here. You guys can watch it. I also had a video on Star Fox and 007 getting delayed on the Switch 2, so check that out. And yeah, we will see you guys for the next one. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you guys for being awesome. Thank you for the donos as well. Shout out to Justin and everybody that dropped support on Cario. And we will see you guys for tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be the level 5 vision event early in the morning. So we're going to be streaming that event, okay, guys? We're going to be streaming early in the morning for the level 5 vision event. So I have to go to sleep because we're going to be streaming early. So probably no video until later, or just no video at all for tomorrow. And yeah, I have some stuff that I'm doing on the weekend, so we'll see what the schedule looks like, okay? All right, guys, love y'all. And we will see all of you guys for tomorrow early in the morning, level 5 vision event, 6 a.m. PT, 9 a.m. Eastern, but I'll be live a little bit beforehand, probably like an hour or so beforehand to get you guys ready for the event, okay? All right, love y'all. Take it easy, okay? All right, peace out. Oh, yeah, check out Bad Scent too. He's gonna be streaming, guys. Go on Bad Scent. He's streaming tonight. All right, guys, love y'all.